Flick Rick. Flick Rick.
Yeah. All right, cool. I think we're ready to go. All right, thank you for coming, my brother.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. Of course, you see the name of the podcast, what you're supposed to say. You're one of my friends that I've known for a very long time that besides appreciating you, I've also, I look up to you, and what's the word? It's escaping me right now. But I see you. I see you. And I've seen your growth. I've seen your journey. I've seen, from football to minister, and everything in between.
Everything in between, yeah.
And it's been great.
Amen.
One thing about you, you've always been positive. You've always been about the grind. You've always been about helping and moving things forward.
I'm trying.
Yeah, and you don't only try, you actually do,
Amen.
You have a tribe.
Hey.
And whenever I call you, you always come, bro.
Man, it's my honor, humble honor and duty, man. And thank you for all the great words, man. I appreciate it. I know you mean it. It means a lot to me, man. You from day one, you always been 100, from day one. And I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Now, you can't say that about a lot of people. And you've never changed. As well, all the growth and success that you've had, still Flick Rick, man. Razor.
Nobody has called me in a long time.
My guy, but I appreciate you for being genuine. As you go through the journey and the growth and the transitions in life, you see people change, some for better, some for the worse. But you appreciate those that stay consistently positive and growing. So from watching your growth and all of your successes and continuously keeping me in mind, which I'm humbly honored that you do so, it's helped me continue to motivate and inspire and push forward, because I could be a little extreme, to be honest with you. For those who really know me, I can be extreme. I go from one end of the spectrum to the next, and in between is sometimes hard to navigate, so many different obstacles and wool, I would like to say, that people like to put over your eyes and distractions. But when you see individuals who stay consistent, and every time you meet them, it's the same vibe, same energy, same positive exchange of vibe. Mm-hmm. Flick Rick, man, I appreciate you, King.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Same to you, man.
Amen, brother.
You've been consistent with me too. So,
amen.
So I appreciate you, brother. All right, so of course we'll chat more as we go along.
Yes, sir.
But let's get into your page and see what your journey has been.
Yeah.
As far as social media.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now with posting parts of our lives to share with people whatever it is that we feel we want to share.
Yeah.
And I think
whatever is wise to share.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a lot of cats getting in trouble for a lot of stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
But hopefully we'll get to a point where both sides of that will meet and have common ground, where those who would like to share will share with caution and what's the word?
Reserve.
Reserve and kind of care for the other person.
Yeah.
And if they do share something that's a little bit touchy, they share it with love, so that there is a change, there's help, there's something that's what their intention is behind it, not just to hurt.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And then, of course, on the other side, kind of relax a little bit and be more understanding and not too sensitive to hearing their faults.
That's the truth.
And they're wrong.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like to accept their faults.
Nobody like to hear it.
You got to. In order to grow and to change.
Yeah.
You have to.
For sure. All right. So your handle is Militant Minister.
Yes, sir.
So tell me about that name that you chose. Because you normally go by Samsin Wildfire.
Samsin Wildfire.
Samsin Wildfire.
Yeah, that's for the music and my alter ego. For those who don't know Wildfire, it's best you don't until it's time. But yeah, with Militant Minister is basically, I've always had the militant mindset. I grew up watching certain things. I feel like, so to speak, I'm programmed a certain way. I don't know if it's from watching all the movies and military movies that I love to watch growing up. That was my thing. Trying, hero movies. But I've always had a militant mind. I guess My mother programmed me a certain way to see things a certain way and to respond a certain way, to be as 100 as possible. And so when I say militant, it's not just more so military, but direct, and clear with a certain type of, I would say, formation, structure. It's just being structured and direct. People know me to be a bit blunt. I can be blunt, and that's where the militant aspect comes from. Minister, the definition is just a servant, and I like to consider myself a servant of God. A lot of people don't know that's what it means, but when you minister, it's just to serve and to also speak a certain word. So overall, militant minister means just a direct form of communication that I represent. Is going to be within a certain parameter, I like to say, So I could give you a good word, but it might not be as positive or received as a preacher might give it to you. I give it to you like that, like a dad, or like that uncle, but with love. It's tough love. So that's where it comes from. That's what I mean to relate to people. Militant minister, that's what you're going to get on this page. Some positive information, some blunt, direct information. It might rub you a certain way, but it's all for love. It's all tough love that people need to hear.
Yeah. And you've been ministering.
Yeah.
Like as far as in a church,
I have
congregation.
I've been blessed enough that God has elevated me to the moment to where I was invited to give a couple of messages from the pulpit. Shout out to Living Seed Ministry. I appreciate the love that they granted me that venue to do that. But I've always been ministering in the club. So, I used to bounce. I used to be a security officer, guard, bouncer, whatever you call it, in the clubs. And I ministered to a lot of people in there. It's funny. When you meet people in the clubs, a lot of people, not all, not saying all, but a lot of people go there to escape their troubles, to unplug. It's like a meditation, to get away, and some go to drown their pain, of course, and sorrows. And I meet a lot of people in there. I used to meet a lot of people, and I used to minister to them as far as with positive energy. While everybody's on a different agenda, under some type of influence, I give thanks to God that I was influenced by him to give specific messages and specific words to people in that time of need. When people drown their sorrows and pain with alcohol, drugs, or whatever it might be, when they come back out of that, it's still there. But a good word, a positive word, inspirational word that can touch them right where they're at can help shift their perspective and their overall mindset and their lives. So that was my main mission when I was in the clubs, is ministering there. That's the greatest ministry I've ever had, was in the club, to be honest with you. Out on the street, in the workplace, those are the greatest ministries. I don't knock the stage, the pulpit, none of that. That's great. That's massive. That's amazing. But you get that real personal connection when you get that phone call that somebody needs that advice. When you're in the club working and you see someone in the corner tearing up, crying, but they're in the club, but yeah, they boo-hoo crying. So you minister to them, you speak to them, and you bring them out of that. I say most gratifying, humbling moment in my life was when I was working at Iguanas. And that was a real tough time for me. Iguanas was a tough venue to work. It was a huge venue. We're short in numbers. And the crowd, they come from all over. So we were clearing out the club, and I was really agitated that night with my position in life. I wasn't supposed to be there. I had just left college, full scholarship, and I blew it. So I had to make a way to make ends meet. So I started working, and I was coaching at the same time. So I saw a young man who, he looked the part. Florida boy, Miami boy, dreads, gold tee, sagging pants, end of the night, I'm tired, I want to go home, and people are still lingering. So I'm not in the mood for conversation. Lights, come on, it's time to go. So as soon as he saw me, his eyes like popped wide open, and he started tearing up. I said, man, you okay, man? It's time to go. He said, Coach, you don't remember me? I meet a lot of people, Rick. So it's like, nah, not really. He said, man, he used to come out, he used to come speak to us all the time. He was coaching us and telling us some good words, some inspirational stuff. Man, he said, I ain't gonna lie, Coach. And man, just started tearing, crying. I said, man, those words you gave me at that time in my life really helped me. It helped change my life. And as he walked off, I stood there and I just had to give thanks to God, because I was going through a moment at that time. I was frustrated. I was in that moment of what they like to call today depression. But it was just a moment that I was having, upset with where I was at the moment, and God spoke through him. And that was just that energy that came back around from me speaking to him when I did and to those. So I'm grateful for that. That's the greatest ministry I've ever had, was in the clubs and out here one-on-one and in personal.
Because you're basically meeting people where they're at versus waiting for them to come to you.
Exactly.
At whatever that point is when they decide to come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's unexpected. Yeah. So, when you come at them, and I used to get all the time in the club, man, what you doing in here? I'm earning a living. He said, yeah, but you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that, you're supposed to be on this. This is the pulpit, this is the stage, this is the church. So nah, stop tripping. No, this is the church, because it said where two or three are, there he is even more. Wherever you want to be, for those believers, and sorry, I don't mean to make it a religious show or a spirituality, but
it's whatever you want to do.
To be honest with you, man, wherever you are, if you're a believer, you want God there. And that means each and every step is guided. That means you're positioned right. If you're a receiver, it's like football. I like to break it down in football terms. If you're in a game, you're the wide receiver, God is the quarterback. And in order to receive your blessing that's already in the air, which is the ball, the pass, you got to run your route right. Mm-hmm. If you ain't run that route right.
And the route that he called, not the route that you want to run.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. The route that we don't want to accord with.
Yes.
You got to run that route, because guess who the DB is? That's the offender. That's the opposer. That's the op, they like to say in this day and age, right? Mm-hmm. He's there to do his job, make you earn that. So you got to run that route right. And that's what it's about, King.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a great analogy.
Yeah, I love it.
I felt
it helps.
that.
Yeah, you like it.
And I played ball too, so I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, man.
And I was a wide receiver. So.
Perfect. So it hit.
Yep,
Yeah, it's on point. And it's amazing when it came to me. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that. I think the work you've been doing is very noble of you. Not a lot of people, even if they feel it, they may not feel to express it. But you never shy away from that. You know what I mean? Like, you make sure you let it be known.
Yeah.
And it's about touching who's ready to be touched with it. You know what I mean? So,
yes, sir.
I love that. All right, so let's start with your bio. I think that's what it's called, right? The bio section.
Yes, sir.
It says, "Godly made and molded warrior of the kingdom, alien to this human civilization, citizen of heaven, fighting this messy flesh."
Wow.
Godly gang. Praise God.
Praise God. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
That's a mouthful. Well, first and foremost, the Almighty made me. Mm-hmm. That's the way I feel. That's what I know. And I am a warrior of his kingdom. I feel that about all kings here on earth. And when I say alien to this human civilization, meaning, man, I'm not part of this foolishness, this crazy stuff. I don't understand it. I'm still trying to figure it out. I think one of the best movies ever made was Avatar. Mm-hmm. Right? I think what's it called? No. Yeah. With the green people.
Yeah.
Listen, man, that's amazing, because they depicted the spirit, the essence of the spirit. They took this dude who was crippled, put him in a machine, and transported his spirit, his being, him, the person, individual inside, within, to this body, to this next vessel. So when I say alien of this human civilization, this is my avatar, and I'm here still trying to figure this out. It might not be green. It's a little golden brown. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on out here, because it's upside down to me, So I'm still figuring it out. Citizen of heaven, that's self-explanatory, man. I'm from the Almighty. Fighting this messy flesh, meaning, we all know the flesh can be a mess. That's a spiritual, religious phrase that people like to use. But you got to understand that that's your avatar, the flesh. But you inside, you're the being. And sometimes this has its own way of doing its own things, has its own way of responding on its own, It's amazing how you could touch someone with words, It's amazing how you see someone on TV, you get to tearing up, but it didn't touch you physically, but it touched you emotionally. It's amazing how you could be in the middle of a club while all the songs playing, you could hear another song inside. You could see something else going inside. You could be here and not here at the same time. So when you speak about the messy flesh, it's just trying to figure things out so everybody knows exactly where I'm coming from. And when they see some messy flesh on my page, I told you, I'm trying to figure this out. I don't have all the answers, but I'm giving you what I know.
Yeah.
From where I'm from.
Yeah. That's amazing. And you know, of course, I've known you since high school when you played football. Were you of this mindset since then or before that?
A
Or
pinch, just a little pinch. It wasn't as defined. I had it all in there, not all, but it was molding, it was building. I was in internal struggle because, you know, you're still trying to figure yourself out, you know, in high school. Samsin came about at that time. That's when that name really resonated with me.
and you had to look for it too.
Yeah, I
Big,
did.
swole, long dreads.
With the dreads, yeah. It had the mindset, you know. I felt I was a man amongst jits because I always was looking forward. I had to grow up quick, you know, with the queen that raised me. She raised me with a real strong hand, with enough love. More would have been great, but she gave enough. But she really, with an iron hand, you know, an iron fist. That Zocalo was major, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had to grow up real quick. So I would say that the militant mind, you know, she helped mold that. She helped keep me focused and more in tune with what was more and most important. I didn't really fall too heavy to peer pressure or going along with the crowd because I was more focused on her well-being and her trying to provide, you know, because she was a single mother. My queen was solo. So I was always thinking of my actions. I didn't want for my actions to bring her more stress. As much as we saw, you know, growing up as a young Zoe, it wasn't easy in our generation growing up until it finally got better. So I did my best to stay away from a lot of stuff, you know, just to stay focused and driven. But it didn't come to fruition with where I'm at now until I started fasting and praying more. When I got out on my own with my family, with my wife and my child. Now I got 4, of course, but at that time it was just 1. When I came back from school is when it really started to take a real strong foothold. I think after I cut my locks, when I got baptized in 2007, I believe. That's when the real transition began to take place, and I started understanding myself more and understanding what was most important. Those earlier years in between, right after football, when I was doing the music, I was still trying to search, but it was there because my content was a bit different from everyone else's. My perspective was, it was still building, but it's not until I would say I chopped my locks that I made the decision to really take my next chapter serious and embrace who I was becoming.
Yeah. I mean, you were a star football player. You played in college. I know you did well there too. So for you to, you have a few things that you've done outside of that I would say most guys that had the kind of football career that you have would have been like I don't want to say lost, but like lost in the world that I think you're fighting from, but you were able to fight through that and have a wife, kids, home. You work, you minister. You're a man of God. Like those are like amazing things that you've accomplished. I believe based on, because you know football players, they're the guy, all the women, or the da. But somehow you was able to like break free of that and become this great man today. Where I know there's a lot of guys who didn't have that.
It's not an easy journey, bro. It's not an easy journey.
Grow into that, and I think that's amazing.
Amen. I'm glad to have made it through. That's due to the grace of God because He gave me an awesome queen. I was wise enough to know that I needed a solid partner. I needed a solid queen to grow with because I thought, like every king who's playing ball, I was going to go to the league. I had it set. That was my focus. I was driven. But then in that in college, I lost my mind somewhere in there. You know, I wasn't focused. I underestimated and overestimated myself in such a way. You know, in one aspect, I was supposed to tighten up on certain areas that I didn't. And I underestimated the game. I didn't become a student of the game. So I fell back in my shame from allowing other individuals that I felt was not as physically and athletically capable of doing it than me. They were doing it because they took the time and they were taught well. I wasn't really taught. When you're down here in South Florida, to be honest with you, if you're not going to certain schools, you're not really getting coached. You just, hey, man, get out. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's upset, he's angry. Man, go get that ball. So I was a dog. Yeah, I did it. But when you get to college, it's a different situation. Yeah, it's an institution. It's a business, a corporation, man. And if you don't have your I's dotted and your T's crossed, brother, yeah, it takes more than talent. So I was talented, but I did lose my way, and I prematurely ended that. Came home and struggled for quite a bit. Music kept me up, but I say my queen that stood by me, she endured quite a bit on my journey, on our journey. And it was God that blessed me with her. But I say I was wise enough to understand by watching my mother's struggles and how great of a person she was, that I prayed at an early age for the Lord to bring me mine. And I knew I was going to make it sooner or later. And whatever it was that I did, that I prayed, one of my major prayers was that for God to bring me and connect me in relation with the queen that is for me. And he did. And she hung in there. Because there's times where, man, we couldn't stand each other. You know, for real, it's not easy. But I'm blessed to say we are 26 years deep, 4 children, and we still riding, and we're better than ever now. You know, we weathered the storm. So it sounds good when you look at the transition if you jump, but man, those years in between was rough. It was rough. But my faith in God and seeing her strength, hanging in there and supporting her and making sure that I wasn't a deadbeat, you know, like a lot of unfortunate dudes are out here, you know, who are confused and lost. And, you know, I got to the point, there was times where, you know, believe it or not, there was moments, brief milliseconds in life where I would ask myself, am I right about God? And I shake it off like, man, get the heck out of here. That's the enemy. I said, wow, look how strong the enemy is to actually have me ask myself, am I right about God's existence for me in my life with all that he's brought me through? So I can understand the mental illness and stuff that happens out here. So, you know, to cut it short, bro, it wasn't easy, but we made it. And that's what I pride my page, all the pages, everything that I do, everything I represent is, yo, you can make it. If I made it, this once Sons Ivy, you know, if he made it, brother, anybody can. Yeah.
Amazing. All right, well, let's get into your post here.
Yes, sir.
To see what you post to say.
Amen.
Let's start with this, your latest post.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here.
Greetings. God bless, beloved. Kings and queens of his marvelous kingdom, congratulations. We made it to a brand new blessed day. I want to share a lesson, just a message, in reference to a lesson learned for those like me and like you, because you all are blessed givers. It's a message to everyone, every and anyone who continues to be givers, and they love hard, and they riders, they 100 for who are with them and who are in their circle. Just remember, not everybody is for you like you're for them. I know it only seems fair that you receive the same energy that you put into those around you, but it's not promised. And not everybody has grown to that level of being 100. And not everybody wants to be 100 with everyone and those who are somewhat 100 of them, you know? Not everybody is riding with you like you riding for them. So with that being said, don't allow that important lesson, in fact, cause you to shrink into an individual that you're not. You just know not to pour your all and give your all to every and anyone. There are signs, you know, that we overlook because we're so loving, because we love the individual so much that, you know, it's, oh, that's just the way they are, you know, they'll get right one day, or, you know, that individual don't know how to love or to do because he hasn't experienced it. But if you're constantly doing and you've done and they don't reciprocate that, I'm not saying to not deal with them at all, but I am saying to just shorten your energy in that aspect towards them, you know? Certain things are earned, and everybody's not in it like you're in it for them. But don't hold ill, negative emotions, you know, because at the end of the day, they didn't ask you to be as awesome as a person as you are. You just are. And don't let them not reciprocating that awesomeness back to you cause you not to continue to be awesome to everyone else. I don't know if you hear me, feel me, making sense. I'm just saying, continue to be the blessed individual God made you to be, because as you continue to give and pour into people's lives, it may not come back from them who you're pouring into, but it definitely will come back to you, because you were made to overflow. You were made to live in abundance of wealth, of health, happiness. Don't allow the attack of the enemy that has overwhelmed those who are not reciprocating to trickle onto you. Keep your vibe 100. Keep your energy true. Praise God. God bless.
Man.
Greetings. God bless.
That spoke a lot to me right now, man. That spoke a lot to me right now. So what inspired that moment right there for you?
Well, I had I had a conversation with a good brother of mine. Shout out to Positive Goodfellas, Ricky, a real good childhood classmate, friend, brother. He tightens me up. He does my cuts. Great barber. And we had a conversation about a personal situation he had with an individual he was super tight with. And while he was speaking, it reminded me of my situations with brothers that I was tight with. But then the lesson in it, what he broke down was he found out something that he didn't know, and he felt that he should have been privy to. And for me, looking at it on the outside and, looking at the bigger picture, I was able to elaborate and just remind him that, well, everybody's not in the pot like you are for them. So there's a lot of people out here who are givers, who love real hard. And I didn't understand that until someone started loving on me hard. And I understood, like, yo, wow, that's, when people love on you hard, it's serious. And you got to come to understand that if you can't reciprocate that back, you have to communicate that and draw some kind of line so energy is not blurred, because if I'm in it, if we're in a situation in a business, in a relationship, because that's what business is, a relationship, and you notice that your partners are not putting in like you, well, you can't keep putting in for them and covering for them thinking that they're in it, but for some reason they can't. No, it's not that they can't. They're just not in it. Mm-hmm. They just don't have that love, that energy, that want, that need to put forth that same energy you're putting in. So you can't get really heated over it. Is that the right word? You can't really take it personal, because it's not a personal thing unless it is. But when you come to understand that everybody's not in on the plan like you're in on the plan, then you got to take certain steps in how to distance how much energy you put forth into someone. And it hurts when it's a loved one. And we see that a lot. That some loved ones might take advantage. Well, you got to keep your energy. When I say keep it, don't waste it, because it needs a lot to survive in this day and age and to go through what we go through. And you want to have enough to give to those who deserve it. Mm-hmm. So to, take offense to someone who you thought was in it like you, but you kind of find out is not, no problem. Now that you know, step back a little bit, deal with it where it's at. Now that you know, now deal with it where it's supposed to be fair, because it wasn't fair before. Take a deep breath, deal with it, because that doesn't make the individual bad. It just, now you see the trueness in it, pull back and be fair with yourself. And so that was the main lesson to learn from that, because you don't want for you exchanging energy with the wrong people and you giving too much in a situation cause you to just be bitter with everyone. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so especially if God made you to be a giver and a blesser, he's going to continue to abundantly bless you, because that's what you love doing, is looking out. But if you stay looking out for a specific project, a specific entity, a specific lane that's just not working, it's not giving it back to you, accept that and just reallocate that energy somewhere else, because There's a lot of other venues, a lot of other people that need it and will reciprocate. And let's say if they don't, sooner or later, how it works, it will come back. Places you never expected. And that's when you see what favor is. You know, favor just fall upon you because you've been putting in. And then sooner or later, it will come back. Yeah.
Why do you think people, when they're in those situations where they're giving, yet it's not being reciprocated to a level that they're, feel fulfilled from, why do you think people continue to give in that situation?
I think some people think they could change people. I think they think if they give enough, it'll warm the person, it'll wear them down. Because, women do that a lot. Some women, they think, I'm going to wear him down. I'm going to keep loving on him. And he'll change. But nah, that's not it. That's one of the reasons, I think they hang in there. Another one is some people possibly don't know any better. Maybe they think they're wrong. Because I have heard people say, I'm not enough. But, man, you're giving your all, and the individual's not accepting it as enough. But that's your all. So it could be, perspective, lack of acknowledgement, that lack of acceptance, accepting the situation.
Don't like the feeling of failure?
Yeah. They hang in there. So, and you hear that when it comes to people who stay in awful relationships. Because they've been in one and now they're in another, and so they're going to seem like they're the ones. But no, what's wrong is wrong. Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah. I said that moved me to hear that because I've dealt with that myself in a couple of different aspects of my life, especially in the past couple of years. And I've been talking about in a couple of these about my dad. And the reason why I say about my dad is because I know I get that from my dad. My dad was a giver. My dad was not the man that he would be in a room with you and you had anything going on that he wouldn't try to help you with. Whether it was conversation down to helping you build, like whatever it was, that's what my dad was. But my dad, for the last 20, 30 years of his life, he went into a bad depression.
Oh.
Because of that, of what you were just talking about, where he gave so much, he expected that back.
And he didn't get it. That's tough, man.
And I didn't understand that before, but I didn't understand it until I was going through it. Because I know I get that from my dad. I'm the helpful guy. I'm the guy who you call whatever time, I'm there, that kind of. So, and then of course I realized that later on too, where I got it from, which is very important why people should know their parents, whether you have a good relationship with them or not, if you have an opportunity to, because sometimes I feel like there are things that we do and we don't understand why. But if we knew where we came from, not just from the kingdom, but from the one who birthed us, it can explain it a little bit.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, your militant ways where it came from because you saw the direct lineage. I don't know if you ever had a relationship with your father, but
no, I got that from my mother, man.
Okay.
Yeah, she's militant. Yeah. So
then there may be parts of you that you don't know how to explain, and it might have came from your pops.
True enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so I've gone through those things, and it took me a while, and it wasn't until closer towards his passing, within the past year, that I started understanding. I give, believing, and then I watched him constantly, because he would always say certain things, and I didn't understand it. I was like, why are you always telling me that? Like, why? Sometimes I even get a little agitated, like, yo, Papa, I don't want to go through that. I don't want to. And he was just trying to let me know, like, look, you need to be careful. Like, you can't. Like, when he was dying, he passed away because of lung cancer. A short story, like, he called me one day. He was going to go pay his storage, right? And him and I have our storage units in the same place, in the same building. And so I would either go pay for him when I'm over there, or he would pay for me sometimes when he's over there. So he called me one time. He was like, hey, I'm heading over there. But he didn't drive. My dad used to like taking the bus or public transportation or whatever. So he got there, and when he got like a couple of blocks from it, he didn't feel well enough. And mind you, he had just came from the hospital. And he didn't feel well enough to get to the storage unit. So he called me and said, hey, look, I was about to go pay it, but I don't feel good enough. You mind coming to pick me up? and take me home and then take care of that for me. I said, all right, cool. So I got him, dropped him home, came back, and then he rested. And then the next morning, he called me to ask me, hey, did you take care of the storage unit? I said, yeah, I took care of it. I paid it or whatever. He was like, okay, great, thank you. And I was like, yeah, I'll call you later. I'm about to go help this lady with something. And I said, what do you mean you're going to go? He's like, yeah. And he sounded frustrated, but he felt like he sounded like he had to do it. And he was like, yeah, she just kept calling me and saying she needs me to go help her move something. And this is a longtime friend of his. So I knew who she was. And he was like, yeah, she asked me to go help her move something. And I said, but Pop, you just came from the hospital. You called me yesterday, said you wasn't feeling well. You couldn't even walk a couple blocks that you normally do. My dad was very, at his age, he could do anything. He could walk, he could do, but he wasn't feeling well. And I didn't know my dad to not feel well.
Yeah.
He was a strong man, So when he said, I said, but Pop, why are you going to go? You don't feel well. Why can't you just say no? He's like, well, God made me like that. He said, God made me like that. And when these people need you, they don't care. They're just going to call.
Yeah.
And I said, damn. I said, Pop, I'm sorry, but you can't go. I told him, I said, you can't go. Now, if I was in his position, I probably would have did the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think me being out on the outside of that situation made me realize, no, he has to. This was a moment where you need to take care of you and not give in to that, because another situation with that is he was always complaining how these people don't care about him, how they don't. So if they don't care and they don't give back and they don't, like you were talking about, why are even at this moment and how you're feeling, why would you go do that? And I saw it, if I was in that position, I probably would have did the same thing he did. Mm-hmm. And I have.
Yeah. I've
had my last dime and still gave it away. I've had my, not feeling well and I still got up and went and did it. Things like that. So that's why this spoke to me, because I'm working through that. I've had a past couple of years where it was like, not the worst, because I think everything for me I see as a way for me to learn from and things like that. But there are some things that happened where I was questioning. I was like, well, I gave so much to this project, to this person, to this thing, and yet it's not like, not only just not giving back, but then it's taking away.
Yeah.
So I've been working through that, and I can't say I'm 100% from it, but my eyes are open.
Amen.
My eyes are
open, man.
And I'm working on it.
Please do.
So this is
it's
a really good one.
Yeah, thank you, man. A lot of people have commented and they reach out. I'm just grateful that the Almighty is able to use me that way, to be able to voice and to put things in perspective that people are feeling but don't know how to voice it, and then to give a perspective to understand how to move forward and past it in a positive way. Yeah. That's the key. Yeah. Yeah, and that helps a lot.
Dope. All right, let's move on to some. And then if you see something that you would like to stop on and communicate on, then definitely let me know.
Oh, for sure.
Hold on, let's look here. You giving that The Rock, almost the Rock look. Let's see what's going on right here.
Yes, beloved, kings and queens of his marvelous kingdom, congratulations. We made it to a brand new blessed day. Today's tidbit is about the saying that people like to use, stating that it is what it is, which means that the current state of affairs that they're experiencing is out of their control. Nothing they could do about it, and they have accepted it for what it is and will continue to live in that atmosphere and move forward. But then there's another saying that I like to say, which is on the other end of that spectrum, that says, it is what it ain't. Now, what you gonna do about it? Meaning, what is the current state of affairs is something that definitely can change, and we have to put forth our best effort to change that. So let's take a look at some examples. For instance, it is what it is. We live on the planet Earth. There's nothing we could do about that. And that's temporary. You never know what the future might hold, but that's just what it is. It is what it ain't is being broke, busted, and disgusted while living on the planet Earth. You see, with the right, consistent effort and proper perspective, those things can change. Living conditions can get better for any and everyone. And for some, it might be harder, might take longer, but it definitely can be achieved. It is what it is.
People will do to you what you allow them to do. It is what it ain't, is allowing people, the government, and the workplace to treat you less than what you deserve. You definitely can change the people that you're around, your circle, your environment. You definitely can change employment, workplace, career choices. And hey, if we come together and put the right people in place to run this government the way it's supposed to be ran for the people and for the nation as a whole, it can all get better. I'm an optimist. Please, forgive me, join in. It is what it is. We are not alone. Here in this world, with the billions of people on the face of the earth, we're not alone. That's a fact. It is what it ain't. You need to be around people. You need to be accepted by everyone. You need to be liked by everyone. You don't need that, beloved. You set your own value. You make yourself happy. You need to be able to be happy with yourself and who you are and who God made you to be, beloved. Royalty. And that is what it is. God bless you. Praise God. Greetings. God bless, beloved.
Wow.
Kings and queens.
Another powerful one.
Yeah, I like that one now.
Another powerful one. What does your caption say here?
Yeah, knowing is half the battle. Down at the bottom.
And then over here.
Where?
God bless, beloved.
Yeah, it is what it is versus it is what it ain't. Know the difference. Basically, you know, some people come to accept things that you don't have to accept. Just because the majority are saying, well, it is what it is. No, if you can change it, change it. We could dang near change almost anything. If a person can change their gender, you could change dang near anything. It's real, you know. Almost, shoot, one of the greatest of all time, Mike. Well, he changed his skin tone. Now, forgive me for those who love Mike. You know, it was a medical situation with the skin, you know. But, you know, I know with that kind of money, he could have went more chocolate.
He could have chose a side.
But he chose to go a little more, you know. Hey, God bless him. Still love Mike, you know. But, you know, he made a decision. You could almost change almost anything. So that's what I'm really trying to focus and stress in this here. Certain things you can't change. Like here, yeah. The first thing I said, we're here on the planet Earth. Yeah, this is what it is. Until future, I see a lot of these rich multimillionaires are making rockets. They're going out into outer space, but nobody has found any other planet that they could reach that is inhabitable for humans. So that certain things is just what it is, you know. But whatever you can change it. Be bold enough, be brave enough, courageous enough to know enough that you can change. We don't have to go through what we're going through, beloved. We don't. And some people just accept it. But we don't have to. That's the truth. So that's why I say, man, yeah, know the difference between what really is that you have no control over as opposed to what isn't. But what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
That's what that's about.
And you said something very important there is to have the courage. You know, and I think having courage doesn't necessarily mean to have a fight in you. It's just the courage to just get up and go when you need to. You know, say the thing or not say the thing, you know?
Because there was something in the media. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I remember when Kanye said, Ye said, slavery was a choice, right? And, you know, everybody was off their bonkers, you know, hey, he's right, though.
Man.
He's right. Absolutely right. Now, we can't knock those blessed individuals who decided to live through it, because without them, it wouldn't be all the generations we have now. Think about it. If everyone decided to not to give into slavery, a lot more would have died, you know, because a lot of them, you know, just caught off guard, no weaponry. You know, the Europeans had weaponry that, you know, a lot of the Africans didn't have. So, and they were caught off guard or whatever the history has. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. But apparently we got caught slipping. And you got to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. So I feel those who made the decision to work through it, to live through it, to die in it, and to have more generations to come forward, they did what they had to do so we can have the opportunity today to do what we want to do.
Right.
And that's important.
I think that's where his, he might have said it not in the most pleasant way.
Right.
But what you just said definitely aligns with what he was saying, which is, there was a choice made to live through that.
Yeah.
There was a choice made to live through that for a better day, for a better time, to be still on earth. Because those people could have chose to say, no, I will die, or I will live to, And then, of course, fear and
of course,
that kind of stuff,
And you think about it, a lot of them had children. And that's one thing. And I tell people, my family, my wife really doesn't like when I say it, but I tell people, if you haven't had children by now, don't have them. Maybe be honest with you, they're your kryptonite and your spinach at the same time.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, when I reference spinach, it's Popeye. Kryptonite, Superman. Because the children could be double-edged swords for you. They can motivate you and inspire you to be the greatest being you've ever been. But at the same time, someone could use that child as a weapon against you. They're your weak spot. You can't be as tough as you think you are, when your child is involved. So with those who decided to work through slavery, it's because your children was there, and if you gone, you think you're wondering, man, if I'm not here, who's going to take care of the kid? And then, that's just crazy times, bro.
Yeah.
So, there's plenty of weapons, and I'm just appreciative for both those who are strong enough to fight it and those who are strong enough, even stronger to me, to be honest with you, to work through it.
Yeah.
Because to go through that, wow.
That's a rough one.
Nah, man, it's
we think
it's
we
crazy.
got it bad today.
Fam, I purposely play some of those things, over and I watch it. My family doesn't really like watching that stuff. I like to keep it in the forefront and just remind them. And at least I know it's playing. They come around, they spot a little glimpse, they keep it moving, but it still reminds you, hey, man, this was just the other day. Don't go out here acting a fool. It was just the other day. And look how they reverse Roe versus Wade. What else can they reverse?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's yeah. To have the courage.
Courage, man.
Have the courage, man, to do what's right.
Yeah, man.
When everybody's doing wrong.
Yes.
Wow.
There's a lot of wrongdoing. And I think there's a lot of wrongdoing by people, and because it's accepted in a certain way, they don't believe that it's a wrongdoing.
Not anymore. No, because everybody's doing it.
Because everybody's doing it. So for them, it's like, okay, everybody's doing it. This must be okay.
When in Rome.
When in Rome. Do as the Romans.
Yeah. Yep. When in Rome, do as the... Hey, that's the rule. That's business, man. It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I think that relates to like those like Harvey Weinstein situations and R. Kelly situations and whoever else that's been in those situations. Like everyone around those people, they can't do what they were doing alone.
Right.
But the fact that they're all there and, oh, you cool with that? You could. Oh, okay. So then everybody just roll with it.
That's crazy.
And then I'm sure there's women involved in it too.
Yeah. Ushering the dang thing.
Yeah,
that's
you
crazy.
know what I mean? To get Jeffrey Epstein, those guys, like they had people around them, and everyone was cool. Everybody cool. All right, cool. Then we all doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, if you got a mouth to feed, I understand that too. But still,
nah, brother, there's so many ways to feed your family.
Yeah, but still, it's like,
for real. Let's check out that one in the middle, in between those two.
This one here?
Yeah, that I guess is a special place for me.
Izquierdo rules he should be with his maternal grandmother in Haiti. They want to take an American citizen child and strip him of his rights and dump him in a third world country that is at war with itself. Haiti, a country in chaos on the verge of collapse, where gangs are forcing hospital closures. And Angel has a heart condition. His grandmother lives in the mountains. There's no plumbing in the home. There's no water in the home. There's no electricity in the home. Broward Circuit Judge Jose Izquierdo rules he should be with his maternal...
This story, I was getting ready for work, man, and it was tough. It's about a newborn baby, I think 6 months old possibly, who is with some American foster parents, one of which is ex-military. And this foster home, they have raised several several different children, and they want to adopt this one baby because the mother died. And unfortunately, the dad, he's out of his mind right now and doesn't want any part to have with the child. So the baby is of Haitian descent, born here. And this judge wants to deny the couple adoption rights and wants to send the child to Haiti to be with his paternal grandmother. I'm like, no. That's just blatant hate.
Yeah.
To send a baby who was born here. And this is law now. This is a judge. We're talking about you got to look at the laws. Okay, well, the baby was born here. That means the baby is an American citizen.
Yeah.
So how are you going to send a baby to a country that is ravaged with instability and economy that is so unstable and not fit? You're going to cause for these lovely people, United States citizens, ex-military, who want to legally adopt a child, and they have the means to do it. Everything lines up to say, yes, all right, let the baby stay. It's a perfect situation. So to blatantly deny an American citizen who has the means to adopt an American-born baby, that's some hate.
And then send it there.
And send it.
And he probably didn't even do his due diligence, because not to say the images that they're showing there is false, but it's not all of the country. So
right.
There might be a chance that those people are living in a nicer area, in a nicer place. But the fact that more than likely he didn't do any research to see where this, okay, I want to send them back. I want to send the baby back. Let me check to see where this baby, probably didn't even do
No,
that.
it didn't, because
did not care.
The foster parents in it, she knows. She's reached out. She's done her research. She don't want to stop nothing, from manifesting in the right direction. But she did the research. Like, nah, the grandmother's not living in a good situation. Mm-hmm. And, they're not going to bring the grandmother in, take care of the baby. No, they just ship them off. So in the caption, it's like, how blatant can hate be in a place that was seized by immigrants, who then in turn shipped in human cargo and enslaved them for their own profit, to turn around and outcast those same types of people for life. Now they're trying to deport an American baby while allowing grown immigrants from other countries and races in. This is America.
That's insane.
Yeah, and politicians are allowing these kind of things to happen daily.
Yeah.
And then right now it's voting. It's voting time. And everybody needs to look at who you're voting for, and why are you voting for them? I've had plenty of discussions back and forth with a lot of people, and they don't like what I have to say about it. But to be honest with you, we don't have to vote for who they present us with. When you went and vote, and it's for everybody, and they show you who it is. I remember the past presidential campaign, and when we went to vote, they put, the headrunners. Then there's a bunch of other names that I'd never heard before. But then there's a line that says other. But yet people are going with, and I hear this a lot from a lot of our believers, our Christians and spiritual people, oh, we got to choose the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah.
Time out. A believer of God does not choose evil. We don't. That is not a believer of God. We don't choose evil. I don't care if that's the only, what they've given us. Well, if all of the believers don't choose evil, then they got to say, hold up. We got to do something. Something's wrong here. The majority of people didn't vote. There's a problem going on. And we don't want for civil unrest, Look what happened post-pandemic with employment, right? The people should know and understand, if they open their eyes and see how strong we are when we're together. Pre-pandemic security, and I'm only speaking security terms because that's the industry I'm in. Unfortunately, security is not a high-paid gig. And supervisors I know in some of the best venues in the world were getting about $13.25, right? Post-pandemic, that thing jumped up to 16, 17, 19, 20. Why? Because nobody wanted to work. They was getting all this bread from somewhere. And they said, nah, I'm not going back to work for that. In this atmosphere, when I'm still I'm good. So that forced the whole work industry. And I'm talking about not only security, for waitresses, for everything. Everybody started going up on pay because they realized, man, we got to bring them in somehow. And everybody knows you put more money on the plate, then you're going to start to entice more people to come around. Now they're starting to respect us. Now they're starting to respect our worth. Yeah, inflation's going to go up a little something, but you're getting more money now. So when we come together as a nation of people who are tired of the BS, we force those individuals who we have voted in to do their job because now they're listening and they're seeing, man, they're not budging. We need them to budge. So they got to do what they have to do. So I say that to say, don't just vote for a particular candidate because he's the leader, the head runner that the forces that be have placed before us. No. Vote for who you know is going to literally go out here and do something and stand by his word. Other than that, we're just picking the same people over and over because they all play for the same team.
Yeah.
They all. And they're extreme. One way over here, one's way over there. There's a middle ground, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
There has to be a middle ground. That's the kind of nation we're in. It's so diverse that we have to have middle ground so there's coexistence. But these people ain't playing like that, and so they just keep pumping and forcing the same old people or people in your face and, okay, this is who it is. When you go vote, they give you a ballot. Okay, this is the Democratic ballot list, this is the Republican ballot list, and this is who you should go with. Bro, we don't know who is who and what's what on here. They don't show how they voted and while they're in term. They need to expose that. I've reached out to several politicians, and I'm still waiting to see someone take these requests I'm making serious. I put in a request, say, listen, when I go to the polls and I read the ballot, bro, I've been to school. I'm in school now. I write rather well and I read great, but I can't understand a god darn thing that they asking sometimes. Is it a yes or a no for this? And what are they asking me? So if this is me, a decent, educated individual, imagine the elderly or the immigrants that just became citizens or the less educated. They don't. So we just bubbling in and they're not making it clear. They can make just the ballots itself transparent. Yes, for this is what it means. No, no, it's trickery in that. So if you go read the ballot and they're trying to trick you in there, bruh.
What are they gonna do when they know?
Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of BS, man. Politrickings.
Yeah. Right.
And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I'll even ask dudes I know personally, and I'm sorry to say they don't really give me the right answer. And then after I present it to them, I haven't seen them move on it. I've given people fire to move with to make enough noise, but because politics is politics, it's you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Quid pro quo, all this BS. Because I went to school for it and I learned it, and it turned me off horrendously. When I first went to school for football, I was studying political science because I wanted to be in politics. I felt that I could make a difference. But when I started to learn, unfortunately, where we at is one of the most wickedest place in politics ever. So I don't want to put my face on that. Nah, I can't do that.
Because then you might end up as part of that structure.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You are, because you're not doing anything to change it.
Yeah.
Because now you're trying to maneuver, right, to get in position to hopefully do something positive. So you had to swallow a bunch of BS because that was the majority who was going to push it through anyway.
Yeah.
Because you remember what they say, a vote, what it was, they said, a vote for Bernie is a vote for Trump. They said one time because Bernie not going to win because he don't have enough supporters. Okay, so if you vote for Bernie and you don't vote for Biden, Trump's going to get that vote. That's basically what they're saying, trying to encourage you to, nah, man, don't waste your time with that. Vote for Biden so he can win. He can win.
Yeah.
But bro, I don't like dog.
It's all games, man.
All games, bro.
It's all games.
Nah, man, it's fugazi. It's fugazi. So I just do my best within my space, man.
Yeah. That's a terrible situation, and I think people like that, when they do things like that, it makes you question, like we were talking about when you're voting people in, like how do you gauge a person like that? Because going in, I think that the issue is they're so used to people blindly voting, blindly just accepting what's being presented to them, like you said, to choose between the lesser of two evils, and people not really looking like there's another box.
Yeah.
And you can get, I don't know how that works, but it sounds like you just get whoever you want.
Put the name in. If enough people put it in, and if you know someone, and you're rallying. It's one thing, people like to put vote. I voted. We're going to see that all day today, and as time go by, right? Before the vote comes, let's find out who's worthy of our votes.
Yeah.
Let's find out who is out here that doesn't have the financial support to put these commercials, because these things are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Campaigns are expensive. So if you know a candidate, personally someone who's literally proven that you trust, that you put your word behind, that you're willing to pay their salary. Because that's what we're doing. We're paying for a lot of these people's salaries.
Oh, yeah.
Well, spread the word. Promote, self-promote and market these individuals, for a better us. But people are not doing that. They're just taking the easy route, and I can understand everybody's busy, everybody's working. We're wrapped up and tied up and, making a living and trying to, solidify our well-being, that, taking time out to go do these things, take out from our hustles and our grinds and our, busy work days. But isn't it in our own, it's our responsibility? Same thing if for those who are preaching, it's your responsibility to do your duty to vote. Mm-hmm. It's our responsibility to do the research. And it's our responsibility to hold all those accountable to put out information on all these people. It got to be transparent. Mm-hmm. But there's no transparency in this system. But it should be.
Should be. It's
we the people. The original framers had a great idea because they came from oppression. They were tired of the BS that they experienced. So they came here with an amazing idea on how to do it. But as time went by, nobody held them accountable.
Yeah.
Nah, but that's what we have to do. And until then, man, I'm going to just keep preaching from my soapbox, and let people do what they do. But we get what we get because we're not really taking affirmative action and holding people accountable and changing these things. There should be transparency. There should be who voted what and show their list. So whoever's running, whoever it might be, put their name, and put every single thing that whatever office they just held, what position they just held, put every single way they voted. Why not? That's a public servant. When something happens,
we should know what's in their heart.
Yes, we gotta know. Don't hide that. No, I don't want no parts of that. Y'all hiding it? Don't get mad at me if I don't want to take the time to go vote. Because to me, it's like, every now and then I might, every now and then I might not. It's just which way the wind blow. If I see something that's really moves me, okay, let me go ahead and I'll go just for that.
Yeah.
And everything else, no, I don't know that name. I don't know what that means. I'm not somebody they look, did you bubble everything? Nah, for what? I don't understand that. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not taking part in that.
I mean, even in the way they lay out the voting sheet, there's some madness to that. I mean, there's some
confusion.
Confusion, and the way they put it in a certain way because it will lead you to vote a certain way too.
Yeah, they do have a madness behind it.
Yeah, and I think even with something you said a minute ago, like some people, they put the money behind certain candidates so that they can grow so that they can be voted on, voted for. But that says a lot about the people, I think, right? Because the people are very caught up in the shinier thing. Mm-hmm. We'll go after the thing that's most shiniest than the most nutritious, the one that's better for you. That guy might be sitting over there in the back of an old Ford F-150 shouting, to the top of his lungs, like, look, this is what we need, this is what we need. And but the guy who pulls up in a nice coach bus,
yes, sir,
wrapped in something, and has a bunch of flyers and big poster boards and, you know what I mean? Like everybody wearing the same T-shirts. Yeah. Everybody's attention to be drawn to that. And he could be over there saying, yeah, whatever. Like it has nothing to say with nothing.
None.
He will get voted in before the guy who actually is trying to say something that's good for you.
And that's lively, bro. That's what we have.
Yeah.
That's why they call them sheep.
Yeah.
They should call them goats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's real and it's sad. But it's what it is. And I just try to put little dimes out here, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, wake people up. You know, you really want to make a difference. Let's really make a difference. Let's make a quality difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. All right, let's move on to the next thing. So I see you do a lot of your ministering from your car.
Yeah, from the truck. Yeah.
From the truck. What is it? What is it about being in there that inspires a lot of this?
I'm a morning person, and on my way to work, you know, I'm in prayer, giving thanks for where I'm at the moment. You know, you look at the journey, and on the way into work, I'm just thinking and giving thanks and praises how blessed I am and where I'm at right now, and you know, I get that inspiration, and it's just my part of giving back. You know, it's just that moment where I'm inspired the most because I'm filled with the joy, and especially being a morning person. I don't know how people can't be morning persons. You know, I got queens, my daughters, they're not morning people. You know, it's tough to see, but me and my wife are morning people, so it's awesome. So I'm filled with joy, happy, and I get a lot of motivation and inspiration as I'm driving to work. You know, because I look a little deeper into things. You know, and you know, I remember when things were not as good. And getting off of from working the clubs overnight, you know, it would be about 4, 5, 6 in the morning. And as you're driving on the expressway, you'll see exotics flying by, right? Or you might see Diddy. You might see whatever celebrity, right? And when you see the celebrity drive by, you think to yourself, wow, he's going somewhere that's totally different. We on the same road at this moment. He's driving by on his destination, going to something that is like movie type stuff that you can only see if he was to send you the video or it's a documentary or a movie, but you won't see it in your regular, average, everyday life. And so that wowed me, like, man, look at that. And here I go. I'm not belittling my script, but it's different. I got some bills, man. Boy, they're paid off, you know? So it's just driving into work. You just get motivation. I get motivation by looking at, you know, people around me and just thinking, and stuff just pop up. Just pop in my mind. I said, let me drop it while it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all of this is in the moment.
In the moment. Yeah, it's not planned. It's in the moment. You know, I wanted to do, you know, post a week, but sometimes it don't work that way. You know, I want it to be quality wise, and I don't want to be repetitive. Yeah,
You don't want to be searching for it too.
No, not really.
You just let it happen.
You want it rich, because when it's real right there, it's like a freestyle. It's like you ever hear these dudes just potting, it's like, ooh, man, that was rich. You know, you want that EPS.
Yeah.
In a moment.
EPS. You guys got to look at what that means. It's a Creole word.
Yeah, EPS. You know, that spice and seasonings. Yeah.
All right, let's look here. Okay, before I click here, it said, all I see is white man. Can we do it? Oh, there's another part. It says right here.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, play that.
What did they do?
Yeah, that's a quick post. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Years ago, told my granddaddy that when my daddy got free, things would be better. When he got grown, now my daddy's grown. Somebody told my daddy that when I got grown, things would be better. Now I'm grown. Now I have the white boy today telling me that when my children get grown, things will be better. Selves. They want to go for self. They want to pool together and unite like the Jews did. At one time, Jews and dogs wasn't allowed on Miami Beach. And the Jews got mad and united and bought Miami Beach. White men, 50, white men.
You see, one huge important thing he said in there was, he said they united.
They united.
They united. You know, I'm hearing a lot of stuff about, you know, the Jews, right? I'm hearing, you know, and they go through a lot of conversations with different people, and I see a lot of stuff in the media about athletes getting caught up with saying, you know, quote unquote anti-Semitic statements or whatever. I don't get into all of that. But what I do get into is the truth. The truth is, okay, let's say, and we know the truth is that if you do say something negative about them, yeah, you're going to be some hot water if you're up there. So what that means they got power. But how do they have power? He said it, they united. Unification of any group and moving in a proper direction is power. Hands, fists. This is power. With Bruce Lee, this is power. That's Bruce Lee. The average individuals, man, we got to come together. It's power when we unite. So, you know, I hear that there's statements made, you know, they say ye made statements, and some people take it out of context. They say, oh, well, certain groups of people are benefiting off of our struggles, right? So they're saying, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I know you're a little more versed at it, that he's versed that they benefit off of the music that's negative and this and that, which is driving our culture in a certain direction. Okay. Well, I know that there are black-run labels who promote and pump this as well, and they're eating. Mm-hmm. Anybody's going to eat off of any opportunity that they see that's going to help them and their family. So we'd be wrong, to be honest with you, just to point at a specific group of people when everybody's going to benefit. Anybody. If it wasn't them, it's going to be somebody else.
Somebody would do it.
Somebody's going to do it, you know? So I posted that because it was really telling me, man, we got to unite because the Holocaust did happen. I wasn't there, but I see videos.
I've been to concentration camps. I've seen.
There's history. I don't know
craziness of it.
I don't know how people could say that it didn't, and that's weird to me. It's like, yo, no, that's their history. It happened. That's real. But I salute to see where they've come from and what they're doing now. And it's not all their culture that's into exploiting us. Nah. You're looking at specific people who decided to get into the music as a business. And I tell you what, if there was no demand, if no one would buy that negative stuff, they would quit pumping it.
If there's no money in it, nobody would be doing it.
If it was all about happy, joy, guess what? They'll be pumping that. Mm-hmm. If they ain't Now, sure, for sure, there's some people, some individuals, entities behind the scene that wants to pump a certain type of agenda. Yes, of course. But it's our people that's engaged in it.
That's making it. Well, I think to generalize a whole group for the doing of a few is wrong.
That is wrong.
That is wrong.
Yeah.
And then in anything, religion, business, family, friendships, what else is there in life? Whether it's good people that creates it, bad, evil will always infiltrate it. Always.
That's his job.
There's not a thing that the evil, the devil will not infiltrate and pretend to be part of and then do its thing.
Hey.
So I believe in the music industry, they might have been great, I mean, Jews or whoever it is that wanted to make music, but at the end of the day, those who, they may not have been bad people, but they may have just been people who have a mouth to feed, a family to maintain. Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to go here and give you this mic and I know this mic might hurt you, but you know that, hey, that mic might hurt you, bro, if you talk into it, but you decide to do it and I can feed my family from this, I'd probably just do it anyway. Yeah. Right? Now, that's not to say that's everybody's story. Right. But there is that story in there too. But then those who accept to do it, those record labels, because from what I've learned from like some video I watched from Dame Dash, and it made a lot of sense. He said there's the record labels and then the distribution companies. The distribution companies is where the money is at, not necessarily in the record labels. And the record labels, a lot of them are given and ran by a lot of black individuals, and they too have to be held accountable for what's going on in this industry, right? Because not just because of the content that is going in the music, but the fact that they've drawn from they've seen the things that has happened in real life in real time for people, and because of the money that is generated by those outside of the communities that are intrigued, like, oh my God, this is what y'all doing over there? This is what you're doing? And then if you got a bunch of people who's starving and hungry and need, and then there's a television there showing them how they're nothing, they have nothing, and then there's this small little avenue that's showing them that there's a few guys who went through that, and they became far beyond, like, all I wanted to just eat and have a little place to stay. But these guys are like, not only are they eating, they're throwing food away.
Come on.
They have homes that the whole family can't even, like, their whole family could be in there and there's still room for another community. And like they're doing all this in so much abundance, I guess, if that's the right word. And of course they're gonna try.
Yeah.
And then whatever it is that they got to do to get there, they're gonna do it. And if you're telling them, well, to get here, you got the guy that I let in, this is what he was doing out there. So what do you think kids are gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
And I think regardless of what the music was saying, the music was supposed to be art. Music was supposed to be art, just like movies are supposed to be art.
Yeah.
All of these things are just supposed to be art, and you're supposed to appreciate it. No matter how egregious it is, no matter how terrible the words might be, it's supposed to be art, someone's artistic expression. But the industry messed up when they brought in the word real. When that word entered, especially hip-hop, well, it's hip-hop really, I think that's where it took a real big turn for the worse, because now those who were making it to separate themselves from those who, like, hip-hop became like a boxing match. I have to beat you. Rappers talk about rappers. I don't hear country music talking about other country music artists. I don't hear rock stars talking about other nobody's saying that guy did it.
No.
But hip hop for some reason has to talk about the other guy and how either I'm not one of these rappers, I'm a hustler, or I'm better than these other rappers, or or I kill rappers. Like they're always talking about each other, and they have to use certain words to separate themselves. And one of them is I'm real. So now a guy like you, when you used to do music, who was writing you was doing what you would like to do, whatever, if it was inspirational, whatever it was, you created from that. And I think there's a lot of people who just wanted to create from their own experiences there to help to build. And a lot of that got killed because now that hungry dude who's in the street, he's going to want to separate himself from you. Why? Because those who have the gatekeepers are saying, I can sell the real.
Yeah.
Y'all not. That real that they're talking about, I can sell that. So that's all they're looking at is to sell. So then this guy is going to come over and trample over everybody. I can kill, I can shoot, I did it, and all of this stuff. This ain't a game. This ain't fake. So now what we're selling is it transferred over into people's real lives. So now I can't just decide to, like me, I'm not, you know me, I'm peaceful guy, chill guy. I'm not about conflict, but I love horror. I love thrillers.
Yeah, you do.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's in my mind. That's my creativity that I like to. But I'm not out here doing that.
Right.
I'm not out here becoming a monster. You know what I mean? I'm not doing any of that in real life. Imagine if that entered into movies, where now I had to be a monster in real life in order for me to sell a movie on TV. Like that's insane, but that's what the music industry has become. Is that you have to be this real thing in real life to be able to become, and it's only hip hop.
It is.
You know?
It's sad.
And if it was a good thing, like, you know, to be a singer, okay, there's a lot of singers who they went through a heartache. There's an artist named, I think her name is Hazley or something like that. Beautiful voice, beautiful music, and she said she sold millions of records off of a heartbreak letter or something like that. She said she was going through a relationship where, you know, I guess she was writing her diary about this heartbreak that she went through, and she took that and drew from that to create her album and create her music. That's drawing from real life. I understand that, but that's an individual thing that is personalized for a person. But to move a whole community into it, where they're altering their lives in order to eat, in order to provide for their families, and they're altering their lives in a horrible way.
Yeah, man.
In a horrible way. You would not want your kids, even those record label execs down to the distribution, to the whatever they say, Jews, white, black people who's at that level too. All of those people there, not one of them have their family members in the streets like that. None of their kids would ever, if you wanted your kid to be in the industry, you would never allow your kids to go in the streets and do what these guys that you're drawing from to make this music. But yeah, it's sad, man. It's sad. The music industry for hip hop has turned into, while it's entertaining, and of course the one thing you can't deny is the instrumentation of music.
Oh man, the music's amazing.
It's becoming better and better. It's sounding better and better. And
that's what's really captivating.
And that's what's captivating.
It's the sound.
It's the sound.
And you're just adding. You know, you really don't have to say a whole lot.
Yeah.
As long as it go somehow with the flow and how the beat's going, you know. But the instrumentation is amazing.
Yeah.
The sounds.
Well,
incredible.
it's the vibe. You know,
It is the vibe.
We use that as a term of whatever today, but it's the vibe of it. Like, look at us. who are Haitian Americans. We don't speak any African languages, but yet we'll listen to Afro beats and love it. And we don't know
Heavy
nothing they're
vibe.
saying.
No thing. But it vibe.
They could be saying anything.
It
right
could
now.
be.
Yeah, but we enjoy the music. So
Yeah, man.
But going back to Muhammad Ali and what he was saying right here, like, that's crazy.
Unite.
That's crazy.
We gotta unite, man.
And
If
then
we don't do anything.
here's a when you said that earlier, I had a thought about that. So I think the issue, I don't think black people have not tried to unite. I think the problem is, like he's talking about the Jewish people, right? They united at some point in their journey to become who they are today. But they united, we just now finding out about it.
The education. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I say that to say, but whenever we try to unite, we make a huge announcement. You don't think whoever it is that doesn't like that is not listening?
Come on now. Yeah, because the times we have, there's been, infiltration.
Exactly.
Yeah, Black Panthers.
Everything.
Yeah, all that.
Martin Luther King was killed
Come
before
on.
that.
Yeah.
Malcolm X was killed because of that. Like all of these guys. You know what I mean? So I think if there is a unification that's supposed to happen, kind of be quiet about it.
Yeah, until you strategically,
until you're solid enough.
until you're super solid. Yeah, look what they did to Clef, man, when he tried to run for president. You know,
yeah.
It's like, yo, come on, out of all people, you gonna block Clef?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I think until your foundation is solid enough, you can't be out here having people in your building.
No, you can't broadcast. You gotta move in silence.
You got to move in silence
Yeah.
until you're ready. So, because when them blows come,
Buddy.
you go to the gym. If you was my size, and some blows is coming, it'll hurt harder than if you solid.
Just a bit.
You ready
Just
to
a
go?
bit.
You know what I mean?
Just a bit.
All right. Let's move on to the next thing. What is this? I'm into art, so
Yeah.
this looks like
Won't he do it? Yes, he does. Won't he do it? My life was never easy. Yes,
Yeah, it's just showing love. That's when I first heard that track with The Game and Ye. And Ye, the beat was raw, was nice. And that part of the song when he said, won't he do it? Because I noticed in this past couple albums, or I think the Donda, it was real spiritual, and I saw a couple of clips where he was with the choir and was doing a lot of good stuff. So I was really looking forward to hearing a lot of that. So I like when, artists are not afraid. And, I got to give his credit, to Ye, that when he put out Jesus Walks, man, brother, that song was so strong because it was at a time where I was towards the end of me doing music, and I was always preaching to everybody, man, we got to do positive music, but it got to be raw. It got to be hot. I know all this other music that's out here that's catchy and people are liking because it got that edge to it. It doesn't mean that good music can't have an edge to it. Mm-hmm. You just got to be on a proper beat, and we got to come snapping. We got to come with it. And, there's a lot of gospel rappers that are pretty hot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they snap. And I was trying to preach that, but the circle I was in wasn't trying to hear it. And it was really down. But then when he came out with Jesus Walks, man, it just recertified what I was saying and re-verified what I was saying. Like, yo, look what he's saying. Jesus walks for everybody. When he had the dude, like the country dude carrying the cross, or, the people with the dope and all that. The whole concept behind the video and the song and the perspective he had on that was amazing. It broke down everything I was saying, that positive music could really go. It doesn't always have to be on the other end of the spectrum. So, I salute all the positive rappers and everybody who's doing, saying something, even when it has a dark edge to it, as long as there's a message in there. Yeah. Because look at Jeezy, for instance. We all know Snowman, right? But if you know what he's doing, he caught plenty of property. He's doing a lot of different things. Tip, same thing. Tip into the properties. They're doing huge, big, great things. And, I watched Drink Champs and, watching and I think if it was Jeezy, if I'm not mistaken, that he said Tip pulled him aside. I said, hey, you can't do both, right?
Yeah.
He said, but you doing both. He's like, nah. We used to. We on something else now. You can't do both.
Yeah.
And you got to continue to, elevate, continue to become, and grow, from that caterpillar to the butterfly. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you do what you have to do, right? I tell you, you can do what you want. Mm-hmm. A lot of people who got into what they got into, it's because they didn't know anything better, and that's all that they had. And it was quick and easy, Yeah. So they took their risks, and I salute everybody for doing what they had to. But after a while, when you notice that you don't have to do that anymore, do better. Because if you don't, now you're consumed by that world that you got into it just because out of necessity. But now there's no longer a necessity. Flip it, change it up, do better, clean it up, because
it shows your true heart. It shows your true intentions.
Exactly.
If you're able to switch it up.
You have to, man.
Yeah.
And then sooner or later, the music's gonna change. Tip just put out a album. It had some real political stuff in it. He's always was touching on here and there, but he made specifically an album that spoke about a lot of political stuff and a lot of stuff for our people. And I always was a fan of Tip. And I love the album. It was pretty dope.
Yeah.
So
No, I've been around both of those guys, and I could say they're pretty solid dudes, and they're really trying to do a lot for the people around them, their communities, and things like that. I haven't seen all of what Jeezy has in Atlanta, but the little bit that I did see when I was there and I was around him and his folks, I was like, damn, I was wowed by it. Like, that man moves in a way that you can tell I don't want to say if he's admitted to have done things in the streets, that there's a reason why he's still here, and he made it through that.
Yeah.
He's not a dumb individual.
No.
And he has, there's a quality about him and what he does that he, of course, the content of music, again, to me, is art. Even though he's drawing from real life situations, but he's not one of those guys, I would say, who's trying to push it. It's more so, of course, the industry is buying it.
Yeah, they're gonna do it.
But I don't see Jeezy as I see him as art in music. You know what I mean? And Tip as well. Well, Tip might be a little bit more.
Yeah, Tip on it. Yeah, he put a lot of content. I give him that.
Yeah.
For a dude to come from the background and his experience to have the courage to put real content in your music, because that makes you stand apart from everybody else. Everybody could talk about the same old thing all day, all night, but once you start putting reality, real stuff that we need to continue to have conversations about, and you're not worried about your fan base, you're not worried about people, how you want soft or you preaching it. Nah, that's just him. He's educated and he's willing to put it down on wax. Mm-hmm. He's willing to put it on digital so the world could hear it. And even as high as where he at, in his tax brackets where and he's living, he doesn't have to, but he decides to. And I salute that. I salute everybody who, you don't really have to because you're straight and you don't want them problems, but you're still at it.
Yeah.
No, that's a major salute.
Yeah. And I think, going back to Kanye too, whether right now, and of course, when you've done a lot of great things, and it's very consistent with the great things you're very consistent with the great things you've done. One of the downfalls of that is one blemish.
Come on. Will
look like the world to some people.
That's people. Look at Willie.
Yeah.
Look at Willie. To this day, I'll be honest with you. When I watch it, it still don't look real to me. I don't go out to. I look at it, it's like, yo, that didn't look real, but man, wow, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. But I still love the guy. Yeah. That's one huge blemish. Yeah. But who knows what the guy been going through all these years?
Exactly.
Or at that very moment. Mm-hmm. He had a break right quick, but he's still Willie me, man. Still the man.
Yeah.
He still stands for, what actors, who aspire, are peoples or any actor who aspires to be at a certain level and a certain kind of respect. Because he's always carried himself with a certain respect and a certain carefree and love and happy, that when you thought about him, you always think about clean, good-hearted, fun, happy.
Yeah.
So to see him fall like that, and to see how everybody attacked him, was like, yo, can't you see he had a moment?
Yeah.
You got to surround a man with love. He went through something, I'm sure he feels horrible about it, but
But I think that I have a thought about Kanye, but that what you're talking about with Will, Will Smith, right? Is when he got on social media and he started posting about just his everyday life and of course his insecurities, things about like he's trying to like do things that he would be like fear. Remember he talked a lot about fear, things like that. That was a blemish on him that people saw, and whether people intentionally or like blatantly just said it, but I think people internally saw their superhero with a blemish and they didn't like that, and then that's where his turn I think started to come, and I think he felt that to where now he had to start. You know, sometimes where you make a mistake and people see that you made the mistake, but maybe you're too prideful, whatever it is, for you to bounce back with, okay, you know what, I did, I make a mistake. Let me correct myself. You go more into the mistake to try to prove that it's not a mistake. And that's, you know what I mean? And I think, I'm not saying that's what he did, but maybe that was his therapy with what he was doing. But people are savages.
Buddy.
And the more he was exposing his weaknesses, the more they were gonna start, those powers out there, whatever it is, were gonna start eating away at that until they found that spot. And I don't know if that's the end, but that was a big one.
Oh, that's pretty big.
He did, you know,
it's pretty big.
And then going back to Kanye, one thing, you know, while whatever Kanye is doing right now, and as great as his music has been, which is part of his legacy, I feel like we have to I have a loss for words right now, but we have to admire him and draw from Kanye in a lot of things, because his fearlessness, he doesn't have while we might think his fearlessness is reckless right now, but his fearlessness comes from a great place, I believe, because you got to think about it. Think about when Kanye came up, when he came up. Kanye came up during a time where it was that transition between the old, you know, Tribe Called Quest and all of those kind of more positive vibes to more of the real rappers, right? And during that time was a hard time because they were really looking for those grimier dudes, those more tough dudes, more street dudes, and he came in, and no matter what they were doing, he didn't adapt.
No, he didn't.
He did not adapt.
No, he didn't.
He remained who he was. Now, whether he started rapping about women, gold diggers, whatever, Jesus walks, but that was him. And whatever he felt at the moment that he wanted to do in between.
Even breakups,
everything. And he did that in between two of the biggest, well, three. Biggs is a big dude too, but Jay-Z, Dame Dash, Biggs, and the industry, and Beanie Siegel, and I've been around. I've met Jay-Z and I've spoken to Biggs before, and I've been around Dame Dash, and I've been at it. And these are like the energy around them. Not that they're bad people, but they're the savages of the music industry. That's why they've risen. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but they're savages. They get it done. They do whatever they you know what I mean? Like, and Kanye was able to stay Kanye.
Yeah, be him and do his thing.
Be him, wear what he wanted to wear, do what he wanted to do, sing about what he wanted, rap about what he wanted. And even when they were telling him no, he said, I'm still going.
And he did it.
And he kept going through it all to where now he's unraveled a little bit, but I think at his core, he's still that same Kanye, because he's just being exposed, whether he's been exposed to something good or bad, he speaks on it with that same intensity. For him to be in the industry for this long and to still be able to do that, that goes to show you, like, you don't have to.
No.
Whatever it is that it is, you don't have to.
No, you have to conform.
You don't have to conform. You can stay true to you, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't, even right now, he's doing whatever he's doing, whether good or bad, whatever it is, I try to not, like drop him, like throw him to the fire, because he's, and I don't know, because sometimes whatever he's doing right now, whether it might be a little ugly, but it might be for the betterment of us all at some point. We may not be able to see it. We may not even live to see what the results of this might be.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was telling someone recently how, and what opened my eyes to that is, years ago, I had on my bucket list a few different places on earth that I needed to visit, that I would like to visit. And there was this building. I won't say the name yet, but it was this huge, beautiful place. And I put it on my bucket list. And then years later, I'm talking about many years later, I'm out traveling, working, and I get to this place. It's in India. And I'm in India, and I go to this place, and I look up at the place, and it's the Taj Mahal. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, this looks familiar. So I go back in my phone, because I had it was copied over to and I look, and I was like, oh, that was on my bucket list. And I didn't even know that I would end up there, but I ended up there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the Taj Mahal, and it's beautiful, it's incredible. I didn't even know what it was. Even when I put it on my bucket list, I did not even know what it was. It just looked like a beautiful place to be, right? So I get there, and I see a bunch of people there, and they're like, oh, Princess Diana, that's the bench that she sat on, and this is this, and da, 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 da. And then I asked, well, what is this place? Because we go inside, and it's just walls, a couple little things, but there's no rooms, there's no offices, and then in the middle is the 2 tombs, and of course, the Taj Mahal, for those who don't know, is a tomb, right? For, I think he was a prince or a king or something like that, and his loved one, his wife, died, and he had that built for her, and he put her in it. He loved her that much that he spent like 12 years or something like that building this place with the finest marble, gold.
That's amazing.
It's incredible, right? He put it's the biggest and most beautiful tomb probably in all of India. I haven't been all over India, so I can't say, but I would imagine that's what it is, right? And then when he passed, so there's only 2 tombs in there, and then that's it. Everything else is just kind of places you walk around. And I was like, damn, why did he, and when they explained, yeah, he did this for his wife or whatever, the ugly side of that story is he was a king or a prince or whatever it was, and he took about 10 or 12,000 of his slaves to build that place. So, of course, that place was built on the house, as we say. That place was built on the house, just material probably had to be purchased, but the labor was done by slaves.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't pay them, and then when they were done building it after that, what was it, like, I think 10 years or 12 years or whatever it is, he had his army go to all of those slaves and chop all of their hands off and their kids' hands off so that they could never build another one for someone else.
Wow.
So that they wouldn't pass down the knowledge of how it was built or none of that, right? But today, and of course for a while now, people go there to pray, for spiritual healing, for the beauty of it. It's a vacation destination.
Wow. Damn.
You know what I mean? It's all of these great things today, but it came from selfishness. It came from abundance. Like, he took advantage of his position.
Yeah.
And took his slaves and had them do that for that many years, and then punished them, in a sense.
That's crazy.
For what they did for him.
Right.
Because they did it for him. They gave that to him because he didn't pay for it. They were slaves.
I never knew that part.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I say that to say, related to Kanye, is while he might be doing a lot of things that we may not like, but also pay attention to the things that he might be doing that we like. Buying land, building properties, talking about helping, talking about people being better, talking about people being free, people standing up for their belief. Like all these things that he's talking about. The ugliness in whatever he's saying, for those that it is ugly for, we got to not just look at right now. We got to look at in the future when he's gone, and all these things that he's built, and the buttons that he's pushed, and the people that he's spoken power to. He's spoken to power and all that stuff. Don't throw him away yet, because what he's creating might be a good thing for us 10, 20 years. Our kids, we may not be able to, or may not be here to see or experience what he might be end up doing.
Right.
But our kids might benefit from it. You know what I mean? Bro, most of us went to schools that were named after slave owners.
Yeah, after masters, man.
After masters.
After masters.
It's an ugly thing, but we're educated.
It's on the money.
It's on the money. Yeah. And we use it. We buy our family gifts with those things. We feed our kids with that paper. You know what I mean? So a lot of times that ugly could turn. I don't think what he's doing is it's because of his position and the power that he has, which is why it could be a little testy for some people, but we gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not don't dog him out too bad.
Well, as best, like I said, man, I just try not to dwell on the negative, because when you see good in people, you like to try to grasp and hold on to the goodness that you've seen, and when you see them at their lows, at their bad, just hope for the best for them.
Yeah.
Weather the storm, I don't think he's ever shown enough, at least for me, to just, he just totally messed up. Nah, because I've seen more good. All this other stuff that is lost in translation, that doesn't like the way I broke down the slavery being a choice. He didn't elaborate into that. He didn't go into, breaking it down. He just, sometimes what we might see in the media, like, they control the narrative, so they might just send us a piece of it and then send the whole thing. So we're not grasping the whole picture, like you're saying. Yeah. So sooner or later, I feel you. So that's why, when I heard that track, that part where it said, won't he do it? Yes, he does. This is a part of where they said, won't God do it? Yeah. So yeah, God will do it. Because I was just reminiscing of where I'm at and see where I've come from. It's like, yeah, he does. He will do it.
He will do it.
It just takes some time sometimes, but he'll do it. As long as I run that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to run the route.
I got to run the route, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then tell me about this, because it's also art.
Yes.
Right? It's very nice to look at. How did you get to this?
Oh, I love colors, man, and it's just basically trying to do something a little different, because the whole thing, it was not me speaking, it was just the beat, and I just wanted to vibe to it. And I see from time to time people, will lip sync, and I just wanted to just do it different. And I found that effect, and I said, yo, this is dope. I like it. So it was just the visuals. Just wanted something to match the message. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, he will do it. And so I just want to add some visuals to go with that message and the beat. And I think it matched up pretty well.
No, it's cool, man. You got a graphic artist eye.
Yeah, I got a little eye. Hey, even got Vegas liked it on it, so I'm doing something right. Mr. Nice. Vegas liked on it.
Yeah. Shout out to Vegas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So let's continue, man. It's we really down a few posts, and still we went over like an hour already.
Yeah.
Hour and a half. Let's see here. I've listened to this guy before. What's his name? 19 Keys, is it?
The world you grew up in. So for me, I'm always trying to think, fuck the box don't exist. I want to think like, how would I look at this if I wasn't born with the limitation of my experience? Because your experience is a limitation. Yeah. You understand me? Because you was only given a box. It's like, okay, faith, religion, programming, language, parents, social status, class, neighborhood, you understand me? Education, this is your box, right? Right. This is what's going to mold you. Then you grow up, and then you got to break out of that to see the world outside of your box. So you have to get educated and experiences and be around people of different walks of life, and then that allows you to break outside the molds that you were given in those confines. Yeah. And then it changes. But if you happen to be one of those persons that evolved past those boxes, people who still are in them can't agree with you, accept your thought process, or begin to understand it. Matter of fact, they're going to fight 100% against it. So I see why it offends people, because they can only think in their box. So most people don't know what they
that's meat right there, boy.
You can't think beyond.
I see you wrote salute to this king for this knowledge.
Yes, sir. Cause that's major knowledge right there, man. That's I go through this in in my preaching, in my speaking the word, because I'm not the average believer. I do subscribe to Christianity, but I also subscribe to Islam. With Islam, that's where the militant, as far as the structure, the discipline, I respect it, because Islam itself, man, it's the whole idea behind it is to be submissive to God, period. Now, the media and the forces and the people, the powers that be, they call what we see out here that they label as terrorism as radical Islam. That's not Islam whatsoever. It's not. Because if they could say radical Islam, then they should be able to say radical Christianity when you speak about the Klan. When you speak about the government and certain things that they still do to people. But no, we can't call a religious belief or a spiritual way of life radical and pair it with these atrocities, with these cults and with these gangs and
these
mobs.
few individuals.
Few, right? Just because they might study that, but they're not walking 100% with its teachings, because Islam teaches peace. You know, what these dudes who are over there who claim to be Muslims and all the attacks and all the stuff that they're doing, that's not Islam. That's not being Muslim, you know? And when I speak about Christianity, you know, I have prayed and fasted on a certain knowledge from God to bless me with understanding the truth. Because one of my messages speaks about our people coming out of slavery. We could be diagnosed with Stockholm Syndrome. Because for those who don't know, Stockholm Syndrome is when a person is kidnapped, abducted, and now you're at the whim of your captor. They say, speak, speak. Don't speak, don't speak. Because you're in fear of your life. Eat, eat, don't eat. Someone who is held long enough captive begins to build an attachment to their captor. And there's been stories where the person falls in love with their captor, has children. You still in captive, they bring the person out and they don't even try to run. Now they're brainwashed and programmed. Well, when you look at all the years our people were in captivity, a lot of stuff we came out of captivity with, we got from our captors. And we grasp hold to it like it's the truth, like it's 100%, because we were in that box that he speaks about. And that's all we knew. And that's what we gravitated to and grabbed. And now it is the truth. And in today's day and age, a lot of the stuff we still do is from that box. But people don't want to accept it, you know, because they think it is what it is. But it isn't. So my goal is to seek the truth from the Almighty myself through me into this world and just provide some kind of knowledge that he's blessed me with to be able to understand. And I humble myself enough to seek and find the right words and perspectives and angles to help break it down so people can understand, because people are stuck in their ways. For instance, one of the main things that I preach is Jesus is not God. He's the Son of God, overwhelmed with the presence of God and oneness with God to show us how to become one with God as well. Because I've read the word, I've fasted on it, I listened to a bunch of preachers, I've been in churches, I've been part of congregations, and I try to accept the notion that I hear a lot of Christians are preaching, a lot of pastors are preaching this Trinity understanding. But nowhere in the word did Jesus stress this teaching. Jesus taught love, forgiveness, looking out for your brother and your sister. And he said, they asked him, well, out of all these commandments, which is the most important? He said, well, first and foremost, love the Lord your God with all of your heart and your mind, with all of your being. First and foremost, love the Creator, the Almighty. Because he's always constantly said that he ain't come on his own. He said he was sent. And when he prayed to God. Everything he got from God. The word even says it, that he was blessed and bestowed with all of these things. He wasn't just here and it was him and he is the power. No, it said in the word he was given. And it said in the same word that God's son, because he loved us so much, sent him to show us how to be one with him. But now speaking about the box, all this that I'm speaking of, we got from our captor. All this knowledge and wisdom they taught us when we were in captivity.
Yeah.
It don't balance out right, you feel me?
Yeah.
So that's why when I go to reading about Islam and go to reading about other understandings, like he said, man, wake up and meet new people, and start to learn and see what's going on, what's really happening. Because the people who continue to oppress us to this day, they, even in government, they put forth laws for us to follow. but they don't follow the same laws.
They do not live like
They don't.
the world that they build for us, they don't live in that world.
They don't. So why should we then? We the fools if we accept it. And you see blatantly they don't. They don't answer to that. They don't have to do. They don't. But we have to. That sounds like we still in that box behind those fences and chaining them shackles. So that's why I say, man, when it comes to the word, and I preach this specific word, that I want everybody to know that I love Jesus. I do. But he's not my God. His God is my God. I bow and salute Jesus because he's the original. He came to teach the ultimate teaching that nobody came to teach, not even Muhammad. And Muhammad taught some stuff too. But Jesus was the only one to say, me and the Almighty, we one. Follow me. And I'll show you how to be one too. Man, that's gravy. That means he won't put you in on a lick too.
Yeah.
He won't put you in on a lick that everybody else ain't trying to put you in on, because everybody else is trying to get in your pockets, trying to make you vote a certain way, trying to make you do what's on their agenda, but not what's on God's agenda.
That was on God's agenda. Yep.
That's all I want, King. God's agenda. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the purest.
Man.
Yeah, this 19 Keys guy's a pretty solid dude with the things he be talking about.
That's some great word. Great word.
Let's look at this. You know I'm a big fan of Dave.
Yeah.
Donnell Rawlings, all those guys.
Yeah, that's your boys.
Let's see here. Oh, man, you put Chappelle for president. You
yes,
put that?
sir. I put that. I put that.
We on the same page. I got a post just like that where I said he needs to be president.
Yeah, man. He's real.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get out of this so we can hear what he was saying.
Yeah, he has a great message.
Black Lives Matter is important, but it is deceptive. This problem is not exclusively an African American problem. It's disproportionately one, but not exclusively ours. And the other thing is, if Russia is in fact exploiting our racist tendencies to dissolve our union, then you would have to look at something like racism as a matter of national security. You gotta show all the holes up and plug them up and make sure we're functioning as a cohesive nation. If the people that execute your laws are kneeling on people's necks, you have no country. You have to stop that shit. And that's why these people are storming the streets, because they must save their country. It makes perfect sense.
Well spoken,
Man, Dave, man.
Well spoken.
I don't remember. Maybe one day when I do one of these for myself,
Yeah.
and I get to this photo, I'll remember exactly what his was that I post. But I felt the same way. I've heard him. I've been around him. I've heard him speak. I've seen him speak in front of me. I've seen him speak on stage. I've seen him in these things, and I'm always amazed. Always. He speaks from this, damn, how do I say it? Is it pure or something? But he speaks from this space that it doesn't feel like there's an agenda behind it.
Right.
Like it's just good intention, and his intention is just for you to just be good. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He should be president.
Hey.
He should be president. He has his flaws, you know. I hate that he smokes cigarettes. Heavily. I wish him, Donnell, if you guys ever would hear this and see this, man, I wish you guys would stop smoking, especially because my dad just passed away from it.
Yeah.
But he's a good man.
Good dude, man. Good dude, and he speaks well. He's knowledgeable, you know. And I like how he broke it down, man.
Yeah.
I like how he did that. You know, he did it well. I was real proud to see that. I'm a fan, man. That was a great message he gave on that day.
And what I also like is the person he's speaking to, David Letterman.
Oh yeah,
he's one of those guys you don't have to worry about.
No, from day one.
Yeah.
I went back and watched all this old stuff too, and it's like, you know what, man, this Blunt's 100.
He's one of the good ones.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a good one. Yeah.
I like that.
For real.
Yeah, man. Dave Chappelle, he's amazing, man. I pray he does end up being a president one day.
Hey, we'll see, man.
Let me do this one real quick before we do my next round that I want to do.
Okay.
We're running out of time. I know this is in front of your
the palace.
palace.
Yeah, I hang the flag, man, from New Year's, our Independence Day. For those who don't know, Haitian Flag Day is not our Independence Day. Our Independence Day is January 1st, New Year's. And Haitian Flag Day is on another date. So what I do is, for New Year's, I hang it. And I hang it for the whole month. I hang it for the whole month of February, of course, to represent what they give us here as Black History Month. And I also hang it the whole month of May for Haitian Flag Day.
Up until May 18?
The whole month. The whole month, yeah. I'm proud, man. You know, I hang that in front of the palace. You know, it's a sense of pride. You know, I hear certain people, they like to drive by. I'm blessed with an awesome palace. Praise God. Praise the Lord. He blessed me with a nice palace. That when people walk by and they see the flag, you know, I heard this lady was walking by with her son one day. And it's like, oh, that's a nice house. I want this house, Mom. I want this house. And she was like, oh, no, you can't have this house. They Haitian. They ain't never leaving this house.
That's for real.
Yeah, but I ain't selling, man. Now it's going to stay in the family forever, you know what I'm saying? And it's pride, you know, you put our flag there to let our people know where we're from. Because remember, man, growing up, it wasn't cool being Haitian, man.
It was not.
We caught hell from everybody. And to this day, our people are still catching hell. But at least, you know, it's more accepted, you know. It might be for some of the negative things. But,
I'm sorry, but we're more accepted. Haitians are more accepted.
Haitians are more
Not
accepted.
what they're doing.
No. Haitians are more accepted for sure now. But this is just pride.
Yeah.
I'm proud, man. I'm proud. You know, let them know, yeah, this is a Zoe house, a Zoe palace right here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Great. Have you been to Haiti?
I have a couple times, yes.
A couple times?
Yeah.
How was your experience?
It was awesome. Yeah, so just different, you know, with the power situation. You know, I went to Okap. That's where my wife's family is from. We went for her brother's wedding, and we spent some good several days there. And, you know, I experienced it. It was cool. It was amazing. Actually, where we were staying at, I could see the Citadel at a distance. Yeah, the light hit it a certain way, and you're standing on the rooftop, and you could see it, and it was amazing. And flying in, I saw it from up in the plane. So my next trip, I got to take to the Citadel.
You didn't go to the Citadel?
Nah, I didn't get to go.
I got to go there this year. Man. Woo.
Oh, wow, brother.
Man,
yes.
What a sight to see.
I'm sure.
It hit me probably just as much or better or bigger than when I saw the Taj. Because to think at that time, a bunch of Haitians who had basically nothing while being tormented basically by the French.
Yeah.
Figured that thing out,
and that's quite a height.
And it's way we had to take horses for like half an hour.
I heard
to climb all the way up to the top.
Yeah, I'm looking at hiking. I'm looking at walking that whole thing.
And we were on a little path that was built. That path probably wasn't built back then.
Not like that.
Something like that was built, but not that.
And they still built that thing.
And they built that up there. Oh, man.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
That's a dream, man. And you know what I was proudest? One of my proudest moments when I saw Derillo. He did a video there.
Did
wave
he?
your flags.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, wave your flags.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was, man, listen, boy, when I saw him, when I found it, because I met him a couple of times. But yeah, I give him a big hug for that one. I was like, yo, man
I got to go check that
heavy.
video out.
Yeah, wave your flags. Yeah, because he was representing a bunch of flags. He was representing culture. And yeah, he did it at the Citadel. One of the only artists I know to ever do a video there. That's dope.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
I'm going to definitely go check that video out. And then something I did while I was there, because everywhere I go, since for the past 8 years since I've had my daughter, is I named her middle name is Moon, because I traveled a lot. So I named her Moon so that no matter where I am on the earth, I can look up at night and know and see my baby, right? I can feel her, you know? And when I went to the Citadel, while I was there, of course I'm not going to disclose where I did this, but somewhere at the Citadel, I planted something for her.
Really?
And I have a video that I recorded of me putting it there for her, and I hit it real good. And I pray like nobody ever finds it but her, so that one day when she decides she wants to go, I'll show her the video. She maybe, you know, I may pass away one day. We all do. And she gets all my videos, and she watches me leaving her that message, and then she decides to go there. And that was my dream when I did that. I was like, man, I hope one day she comes back looking for this thing.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, that's a good moment.
Yeah. But that place is amazing, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, life is short. So I don't think people should take time for granted and take advantage of opportunities. If there's an opportunity,
Go see that.
go. Like, don't even.
That's when I gotta go.
Yeah,
that's
don't
amazing.
waste no time, man.
No,
It's an incredible, just the journey up and seeing it as it's getting big. Because it's like wherever you start from, because the hotel I was staying at, we were sitting eating. We could sit eating breakfast by the window, and you can look and see it.
That's
in the distance,
awesome. Yeah.
Right. So from going from that to like
being in it,
I can't even explain the.
I bet.
The magnitude of this thing and how and beautifully built. Not like, a lot of people, they look at Haiti videos and they see these homes and it's just brick, no paint, no nothing, which there is a reason why it's like that a lot of times, so they don't pay taxes. A lot of Haitians just don't paint their outside of their homes, if nobody knew that. But the Citadel, like, if that's where we began, we're here for a reason if we're not building like what that Citadel was built.
Yeah.
There's a reason, because it's not because of stupidity. It's not because of people didn't have the ability or knowledge. It's just there's something going on that caused us to go from that to where we're at right now. But the knowledge of that time to build what I saw, man,
it's amazing. It's a wonder.
It wasn't no stupid people.
No, sir. No, sir.
Not.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, do it. All right. So as we're winding down on time, I'm going to do something called Russian Scroll It. I don't know if you noticed that on some of my other videos. And basically, I'm going to make my way down to your first post. Now, do you remember your first post?
No, not at all.
All right. So I'm going to start. Let me see how many posts you have. 200. Okay, it's not bad. So I'm going to start scrolling down. And as I'm scrolling, you're going to look away. And when you tell me stop, I'll stop. And then you'll tell me left, middle, or right. And you'll pick it. And then we'll stop on that. And we'll do that a couple times as we make our way down to your first post.
Okay.
To see where you started this journey.
Copy that.
All right?
All right.
All right. And go.
Stop. Middle.
Middle. Dang. You good. And I was hoping it would be something like that. That's a good one.
Yes, it is.
So let's see.
That's my debut, man. That's my debut in the pulpit. Shout out to Living Seed Ministry for giving me the opportunity to stand there and give God's word. It was a message called His Will Be, meaning God's will be.
I remember it.
Period. Yeah, that was a great moment for me.
What's your caption read?
God bless kings and queens of His kingdom. God's will is for you always. Just remember, it's a partnership. His will be through you. Godly gang, praise God. Yes, sir. And that's what it is, man. That's my main message in life is to allow God to be within. Because that's Jesus' message, to be one with God. So what is the message behind being one with God? So that He can be here and do His thing through you.
Yeah.
For us all. To have God here, live and direct, doing all that needs to be done. Healing the sick, raising, doing everything that needs to be done. That's the message. That's the mission.
And how was it doing that for the first time?
Oh, it was awesome, man.
Any pregame, like and I'm not talking about like pregame, like
right.
But like, have you done it in a small way besides the individuals that you speak, but any small groups that you've done that prepared you for this, or you just went right into this?
I went into it because I've been doing it for a while, brother. To be honest with you, I have, spoken to other people about, message that I have. I say, hey, listen, what do you think about it? Yeah, I bounce it off, my wife, for sure. And my closest brothers, let them know what they think about the idea. How does that sound, But other than that, for the most part, it's just messages that I speak, that I have spoken. It's messages that I've been speaking, that I'm comfortable with, that I know. So all it is just fine-tuning it and trying to stay on course. Just trying to stay on course with the main message and not to drift, because you can find yourself drifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just experience, man, and just trying to stay the course.
Yeah. I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, King.
When I saw this, I loved it, man. I was like, man, because you stuck with it.
Amen, man. That's me, man. That's my main thing. That's my greatest moment, bro, to be honest with you. That there in this word, I know I did it for God, and I want His will to be. I don't want nothing else. I don't want nothing from it.
Yeah.
I don't want no payment from it, no fame from it. I just want everybody, hey, I'm doing it for the Lord. And that's it. just for God, because I'm trying to repay a debt that I can never repay. But I'm going to enjoy doing my darnest to try until he calls me up, because he's deserving, you know, because he never stopped loving on me. You know, people ask me, well, what happened? What made you change? When did it? God just kept loving on me, man. And it's the shame. Like, I can't have a person as good as you keep looking out for me and I never look out. I'm not that dude.
Yeah.
God just kept looking out. All right, you got me. I got to do it. Because he just kept looking out.
Yeah.
Even when I didn't deserve it. And that's the amazing God that we serve. Because imagine if we was to get what we deserve. Hey. But we don't. And I got to honor that.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
No, this is a huge accomplishment, man.
Thanks, man.
I'm like I said, I'm very proud of you, and I admire your journey and you getting to this point. Because, you know, I know a lot of people, they do get into church and praying and things like that, and I've tried myself. I've called you at times, you know, and I'm still struggling with getting there, but you got there, and you're still going. You're still leveling up even within that. Yeah, you know. So yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's amazing, man. That's the goal. One with God, oneness with God. Just, you know, it's a side note, just for everybody to know, it's good to go to church. You know, it's good to seek to worship together, to, you know, get somebody who's going to give you some good word. But the most important thing is to see God for yourself every day. And it doesn't have to be big, grandiose. It doesn't have to be, you know, no, man. It's just one-on-one. And just take it step by step, man. He'll continue to lead and guide your steps. But just keep it personal. Keep it 100. And even once you get to a final church, don't lose yourself in that church. Stick with God 24 hours a day.
It's God, yeah. All the extracurricular stuff that be going on in churches, you got
that's details.
People get lost in that.
They do, they can. And it's cool, but don't get lost in it.
Yeah.
Focus on God and his agenda for you.
Cool.
That's self-explanatory, baby. Zoe's in the building. Listen, man, I'm proud, man. I'm proud of Zoe, man. You know, people don't know. My mom was Haitian. My dad was Jamaican. I wasn't raised with my dad. You know, I was named after him. And that's my government name for those who don't know. For those who know, you know, I was named after dude. And so my mom raised me, and that's all I know. You know, I don't, you know, knock or it's not that I don't accept or acknowledge my Jamaican heritage. You know, it's blackness, it's strong, you know, good people. It's just that I don't know them. I know myself. I know the food, I know the language, I know the vibe, I know the ingenue, the zoklo. I know, that's what I know, and I'm proud, man. I'm super proud to be a Zoe, man. Happy Haitian Flag Day. Not to be mistaken, like I said earlier, with our Independence Day, Zoe Independence Day, which is New Year's. To all our peoples, go out and support a Zoe restaurant today. Zoe food, you know. That's a Zoe, like Zoe food. You know? Yeah, man. I'm just proud, man. And this is an awesome picture I like because we are a target, man, and it shows in the political game and how they deal with our people. You know, first freed. You know, first free black nation. And to this day, you know, they still hold that against us with how they deal with the nation. You know, it's what it is. It's self-explanatory. You know, y'all want to be free? Well, take this for life. Yeah. That's what it is. So that's why this picture, I had to do it because that's, you know, they're throwing, you know, that's a target and they're throwing butcher knives and steady trying to kill us. And that Zoe in the middle, like what? You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. You know, we still winning, we still living, we still pushing through. You know, Zoes don't die, we multiply. Praise
Zoes
God.
is everywhere. People don't even know it.
Everywhere, man.
People don't even know it. This is a beautiful pic.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful pic. I have to say, there's something I just learned about you that I didn't know.
What's that?
Because, you know, as long as I've known you, there's been times where I've heard you speak a little patois and you had it in there. And there. but I never knew where that came from.
Yeah.
I just thought it was, because a lot of Haitians, we love the Jamaican accent,
Yes,
the
sir.
language,
Yes,
the
sir.
music, the culture.
Yes. Same water, same Caribbean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've always heard that, but I didn't know where it really came from. And to hear that your father actually was Jamaican.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Makes a lot
man.
of sense.
And my government last name is Hilton, and that's from British, Great Britain. That's British, and they colonized Jamaica.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I get that from. So I wasn't blessed enough to have the French, Jean Francois, and all that stuff. No Baptiste on this end, so I got the clean, the blunt in it. So yeah. Well, you learn something too, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have
That's
you
one of
been
my
to
favorite.
Jamaica?
Yes, I have, but that was just on a cruise. We did the cruise we did Labadee, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, and Key West. It was a cruise we took for my son and my oldest when we called it the Navy crew because he had got us full ride to the Naval Academy coming out of high school. So we did that, and it was a great experience.
Oh, great.
That was the second time I went to Haiti, but I was just to Labadee. But yeah, it was cool. It was a good experience. I'm still looking to go. Matter of fact, we do have something coming up next year. We're taking a family vacation to Jamaica, literally. Yeah, no cruise this time. We're flying in and we're staying for a week. So my goal is to visit as many black places as possible on this earth, and there's plenty.
Yeah.
I want to go where I'm accepted. I want to go and spend my hard-earned money on those who need it. Everybody, you can go wherever you want to go. But I just feel compelled to give back, and that's one of my ways, is to just go enjoy our people, because we don't get, what we're supposed to get.
Yeah.
Even here on the side, we're paid less, so I want to go someplace where my dollar means something to my people who's going to look out and treat me like
actually
family.
go straight to your people.
To my people. To my people, and enjoy them, and learn and feel that culture. My kids love the accent, so I said, it'd be perfect. We'll go and maybe might meet some people, might meet some cousins or something.
Yeah. No, they'll love it. I love Jamaica. I've been there a couple of times. Beautiful place. One place I would recommend, well, two things I want to say. One place I would like to recommend is St. Vincent. Beautiful.
Yeah.
The water, I don't know if you're a beach person or a water person.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The water is amazing, clear.
Yeah.
I was with a group of guys that I was working with, and we went out to the beach one day. And we went free diving, just snorkeling and free diving.
Yeah.
And we literally left shore and went into the water and then come back for like 2 hours.
Dope. Yo, you was around coral? You was around the coral reefs?
Free diving, but we're in the water,
Yeah.
which means we never stopped swimming for 2 hours. We were just out there, free diving, chilling, going off to the side of the mountain, relaxing, chilling, the whole time. Beautiful. The water was warm, the perfect temperature. And in the sand, there's 3 different color sand on the beach. So you could be walking on black sand, then you walk on white sand, then you walk on pink sand. The pink sand really blew my mind.
I never heard of pink sand.
And it all has this little shimmery, almost shines a little bit when the sun hits it right. All the sand, the pink sand was beautiful. So St. Vincent's a place but don't wear any don't wear fatigue. It's illegal there for
really
people to wear fatigue over
Okay.
there. I walked in there with some fatigue shorts. I love wearing my little, and they were looking at me like, "What are you doing?" The officer actually came up to me like, "Yo, you can't walk out here like that. You got to go back and change." It literally made me go.
Copy
"Nah,
that.
you can't. And I had to go change that. So
Okay.
be careful with that.
And that's learning people's cultures.
Yeah.
Because I heard for Bahamians, sucker is a bad word.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Sucker.
Yeah, if you say sucker, they take that serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A handful of people told me that. When I first heard it, I said, "What?" And I started checking with people. Like, "No, yeah, boy, you can't see that. No, that's major."
Yeah.
That's like saying,
good to know.
Yeah, it's like these youngins in this generation is they say green, right? Well, us growing up, green is like, yo.
Yeah.
Green is it's fighting words. Yeah, man.
And the other thing I wanted to say was, I heard when you said you want to travel to all these different Caribbean black countries or whatever to experience those. While of course all black cultures are beautiful, and I think has its pluses, but one of the biggest pluses of the Haitian side of you is our language. I experienced this. I went to almost all of the Caribbean before. I've been to, name any of them, I've probably been to it already, right? And what I loved is that while I didn't understand everything, I understand the people. And I'm not saying just understand because they moved us over. No, when they spoke, our language is a mixture of so many languages.
It is.
We get anywhere we go, we pick up something. We understand, like we can get that word from it. And knowing Creole, I would get places and people would start talking. I'm like, oh, they're speaking Creole, and then they start going to this other thing. Oh shoot! But I know we got a piece of that.
Yes,
and I would go somewhere else in another. I'm talking about Barbados, St. Martin. This like. Name any of them.
Yeah.
Aruba, of course we said Jamaica, Bahamas, like everywhere I went, there was a piece of Haitian in there. And, the language, Creole. So you're gonna love that when you walk places and you see that. Because I was like, whoa. Like I would hear people speaking, I'd get closer, and I would say, oh, and then they start going to something else. I'm like, okay, yeah. But it's something they saying. I know what they were saying.
For sure.
Because, and it's not like just a word. Like, no, like whole moments, like whole phrases, and it'd be like a whole Creole thing, but then it goes into this other thing. And then even if you go to Africa, I've been to Africa, but I hear it's the same thing there because, of course, Creole is a mixture of like an African.
But yes, there's so many dialects in Africa.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to taking that trip. I'm gonna spend the rest of my life just traveling in Africa itself. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so now I'm just gonna go down to your first post. So, and as I make my way to your very first post, tell me or tell us, tell the people, tell whoever, what do you post to say when you started this journey on social media to start exposing this part of your life? Oh, who's this guy right here?
Flick Rig.
When you started this particular journey in a public platform like this, what are you still, if it has changed? Because I think some people change. They started posting for a reason and they change and they start posting for a different reason. But through it all, what do you post to say when you post? What is it that you're wanting to put out there about yourself?
Positive energy, for the most part. Positive energy. With all that's going on and the stuff that we can't control, whatever is what is, I just want to put out positive energy, man. That's it. Just positive.
Yeah.
That's all. I just want to add some light because I've been in the dark. It's not a nice place. And when you have just a little bit of light, it encourages you to keep going. It's nothing like failing, Yeah, you learn from it, but it's a tough pill to swallow. And then in that failure, when you still see a piece of light, just a little sparkle in the dark, it helps. And I just want to be that little sparkle just to help, continue to encourage, because from that little seed, you don't know what kind of fruit's going to come from that. If fruit going to come at all. I just want to be that individual, that force, that outlet that gave way to something positive. Because there's too much negativity. Negative don't help. I just want to be positive, and that's why I started it. I just said whatever I put on, man, it's going to be positive. I'm just put something out there, shed some light. That's it.
Nice. Dope. All right, so we're looking at you here. See the time when you was wearing dreads.
Yeah.
I've recently learned that it's better to call it locks than dreads.
Correct.
The word dread came from
it's
people that were causing dreadness upon
correct.
Oppressors. That's where the dread. So locks.
Locks. Correct. Yeah, I had those for 10 years before I chopped them. Had 7 locks actually.
7.
Yeah, I think my first post, it was my truck when I first got it.
Yeah, so let's look here. And you got the tag, praise God here.
Praise God, I'm blessed.
Let's keep it there. The chariot, praise God. So why this? Why the picture of this? Out of all the things you could have posted, you have a family, you have kids, you have a beautiful home, you have a career. You have a lot of things. You have everything in the world. Yeah. Why this?
That was the transition. I had just gotten a truck, and not too long before I got the truck, I was promoted. I'm still in security, and I was promoted at where I was at the time, and I started making some serious money. and life started really looking up. So the chariot was a blessing to myself, a gift for hanging in there, you know, because it was a long journey. And a lot of times I didn't see the end. I didn't see any daylight, and it was tough. But then I started seeing some daylight, and I always knew that once I got my chariot. And the reason I call it a chariot, because I'm royalty. You know, that's how I call a lot of the posts you hear me say, you know, kings and queens, because, you know, we're royalty, and that's my chariot. So I had to get a tag to show everybody. Everything I do is to represent God. It's to represent the movement. It's to represent something positive, you know. And that's what they're gonna know. They hear me say God bless. That's God bless is what it is. I prefer to greet people that way. When you see me, I want to give you positive and leave you with positive energy. And that's what this means for me. You know, I just got promoted, just got the truck, and I had to put that tag on there, man. That's that shield. And I even see when people walk by and they read it, you know. It's funny when you see people's response. I like to see people's responses to the positive energy I put out. And when I see it resonates, it feels great. It's like, yeah, I'm playing my part. You know, somebody was walking by, crossing the street, and he was in his mind, and he looked and he saw it, said, praise God. Yeah. And he looked at it. It's like, yeah, praise God. You know, it's just that little seed. Just dropping little positive seeds everywhere you go, man. That's all I want. And I just pray, you know, my children might be going through it. Somebody drop a seed in their life, you know, that energy come back around.
Yeah. And I think that way that you are, or that journey, or that energy, whatever you want to call it, speaking of kids, like if they ever get to a point in their life where they're lost, or they're trying to find their way, or they need something to attach themselves to go the rest of their journey, like we draw from our parents or whoever raised us, whoever's around, and that, man, would be a great thing for them to attach to themselves to, or use, you know. And I'm pretty sure they're using it already, but they'll
actually, my oldest, I give thanks for him. You know, my first fruit, his first tattoo, he had got God bless on his forearm. Yeah, you know, it's like, wow, okay, it's resonating, man. Praise God, amen. You know, he got sleeves now. You know, now he's full, but his first original on his forearm said God bless on it. So, yeah, so I'm grateful, man. It is a positive impact. It is. I'm just grateful for God being able to use me and continue to do so. So I know I'm blessed. I know I'm gonna be good. I'm grateful. No matter what it looks like, I'm in the right path, because he's gonna continue to bless me, because I'm here for him, his mission.
Great, man, great. Well, you know, now that we're at the end, man, I just want to say again, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me on this. This is part of my journey too, and it's
I know, awesome journey is that.
It's good for me too, you know, learning more about my friends and new people that I meet too. You've always been a solid person. I've never not like had a moment where I felt like I can't count on you. I feel some ill energy. Like, you should always show up with the most positive energy. You always show up. You always show up first, and then you always show up with the right energy. Like, we all do this. We all go through this too, where you call on someone and they show up. And I was speaking about this before too, where you call on someone, and while showing up is something you should be grateful for too, that they did for you, but that person shows up half empty, a quarter full, and they didn't show up with what you needed them for, because it was not just to show up, but it was you needed them for 100%. And you're one of those people for sure. And I'm not just saying this, like, you were one of those people, you always showed up 100%. You gave whatever I asked. I mean, you're a major part of my journey in this filmmaking, because my very first short film.
Yeah, tell it.
While you wasn't an actor per se, you gave it your all. Like, you went all. I mean, if anybody ever cared to go see my short film, Luga, it wouldn't have been what it was without you, man.
I appreciate it,
because you gave it its heartbeat, because that role you played in it. And how you played it. Not just that you played it, but how you played it and how dedicated you were to that character. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but like BT was playing it on
that was dope, man.
Every Monday night. You remember that?
Yeah.
For 2 months.
And I didn't even know. It's my neighbors who saw me at work one day. I had some neighbors that never spoke to me. see them from a distance, might wave, you know, they stay across the street, you know. And finally one day at work, and this was at the club, I heard out loud somebody say, Luga. I was like, did I hear that? I said, no, I didn't hear that. And then she came and confronted me. Hey, I know you. I said, I'm about to say, yeah, you're my neighbor from across the street. She's like, you're Luga. I said, wait. How you? Hey, that was amazing, man. So that was a great thing, man. You put me on, man. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
my debut, and it was a great story.
It would have not been. I'm telling you, and I'm not just saying that. If you ever go see, you understand. Like nobody else could have did it like that.
Amen.
Especially
Praise
of
God.
our generation, of our age. When I think about it, of all the people that are friends and stuff like that, that are not like actors that I could have asked to do something like that, I can't see any of them would have dedicated what you dedicated to that project, man. I appreciate you for that.
Hey, man, God bless, man. You the man. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You gave him a start.
But we got a lot. You have a lot more we didn't go over, we didn't talk about.
Right.
So we definitely got to do this again.
For sure, man.
And then you got to bring your son, too.
Yes. That's speaking of my son. He wanted to be here, but he has some other obligations. But definitely next time, bring them through. And I'm wearing their gear. This Hood Superstar. They got a shop opening up.
The hat, too?
The hat, yeah, the hat. Hood Superstar. They got out there. You'll start to see it more often all over social media. And they got a shop opening up sometime this month in Miami Gardens in the old Carol City Plaza Mart on 183rd.
Yeah, I know.
So they have a shop there. They got some cool stuff, you know what I'm saying? Generation stuff for these boys. It looks good.
Yeah.
Looks good. So I had to represent today. You know me, I usually come up, you know, church looking, you know, pulpit fresh. But I say, you know, me show love to them sons because he got a group of them and they're doing real good and I'm proud of them. Got to keep promote our children and their positive moves that they make. So yeah, that's why I'm decked out in a young boy look today. Yeah.
Nice. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, I appreciate you, King.
Thank you.
Flick Rick, the ruler.